Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in, right? So on this video, we will be speaking about the young lady. I am overdue. I should have did this last night, but things came up. We will be speaking about the young lady that BGS covered, the let the table break lady, right? The young lady. We will also be speaking about Miss Princella. We will also be speaking about the teeny tiny bit. Well, you know what? We'll speak about those two. I'll cover the Christine Emba thing maybe tomorrow. Um, we'll because she did a recent interview. Um, yeah. So yeah. So we will start off with Miss Let the Table Break, right? Let the table break. Let the ship sink. Let the building collapse, and step to the side. Put on your life jacket first and deal with all the consequences later. Right? Look, if y'all can't tell when a woman, a black woman too, is seething just because they speak like this, right? As I said to BGS, the table is indestructible. The table is where we go to negotiate. Whether you want to or not, you're drugged to the table the second you start speaking to a man about anything ever. Right? You're at the table, young lady. You're throwing a fit because you maybe can't get or keep what you want, but you're at the table. We could tell you at the table because you're talking about letting the table break, right? And plus, dear black women, where you been for the past 60 years, right? What the hell? Where you been? And yes, I'm gonna open the panel up in a little bit, right? Y'all give me a second. I'm gonna start getting a move on, and then hopefully in the next 30 or so minutes, I'm gonna open up the panel. But yeah, Ed said, I'm only negotiating your surrender. I'm saying though, right? Let the table break. If you don't get your lame ass, oh yeah, we're using profanity tonight. Oh, it's Saturday night. Yeah, we definitely using profanity tonight, right? So we're gonna play the clip that BGS covered. And shout out to Dr. Ron O'Neill once again. Shout out to BGS. I just got through listening to Dr. Green Gorilla, Obsidian. Shout out to Marcus, keep it 100. And yeah, so you know, and I think I'm gonna try to bring Obsidian on so we can have that conversation about where we go from here politically, left right conversation. That should be interesting, right? Aquateki said no negotiating with terrorists, Ed. Right? So let's play this clip real quick. Hopefully you guys can hear. Y'all know, look, y'all already know Mr. Z is on a shoestring budget. What? Right? We got gum and toothpicks over here, okay? So y'all bear with the production value that's $1. Right, so y'all give me a second. Let me try to get this thing ready for y'all. Give me 1 second, and hopefully you guys can hear this, as crappy as the sound will be, but hopefully you guys can hear it and make out what you need to.
For black women specifically, let the table break. Let the building collapse. Let the ship sink. Let things go to the wayside. Sometimes the best thing that we can do is let things fall apart and teach others to rely on themselves, just like they taught you to rely on you. Because when people feel or experience, usually, hopefully, the same things as you are, they have better empathy and understanding of what it means to be you. You make it look easy. It is not. And I salute you. And that is why I'm telling you to let things hit the fan, to let the ship sink. Step to the side, put on your life jacket first, and deal with everything else after.
Dear young lady, black women did that already. They're dealing with the concept. Deal with everything later. Dear young lady, this is the later. 60 years later, 50 years later, it's interesting. She's advocating for black women to do what they already did. The deal with it later, that's what you're doing now, ma'am. That's what Kevin Samuels is. That's what Obsidian is, right? That's what Dr. Gigi is. That's what Dr. T is. That's what Dr. Thunder is. That's what BGS is. That's what Ed is. That's what Mr. Z is. That's what Charles is. That's what Art New Style is. That's what Angry Man is. Art of Immore is. That's what Keep It 100 is. Right? That's what Game Changer is. That's what all of us are. The deal with the consequences later. This is the later. Right? Thank you, Indigo Flow. Yawn. Right? This is the later. Ladies, you did put on your life jacket. When you and white women colluded to take all the civil rights boons out the back, you let white women take 80 some odd % of the civil rights boons out the back door. That was the life jacket. What are you talking about? You're about 5-ish decades late. Right? Deal with the consequences later. What type of weirdness? Right? Hysterical. Better you said. Word on the street. Dr. Z alter ego is Rick Ross. Right? Yeah, I do have a soft spot for the production, how Rick Ross picks his beats. His choice in production is like, I for this current iteration of hip hop, I would say Rick Ross is among the best beat pickers in hip hop history. But definitely for right now, contemporarily, yeah, Rick Ross is among the best beat pickers in hip hop currently, right? From the hype stuff all the way to the more classy theatrical stuff, right? His Maybach series, especially 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 4, I think, is the one with Neo, is perfect, right? So anyway, back to the conversation at hand. Yeah, let the table break, let the ship sink, let the building collapse. Ladies, you did that already? What are you saying? Let the ship sink. Now, let's be very clear. This is temper tantrum language. This is petulant child language. First of all, it's myopic. It lacks historical context. That's why I keep on saying, young lady, y'all already did that. Go talk to your mother and your grandmother. Right? Go talk to your mother and your grandmother. Y'all did that already. Ladies, you did that already. You're dealing with the consequences now. That's what makes that so fascinating. Listen to her speak. You're like, wait a minute, do you not? Are you from the black community that, Mr. Z is Haitian descent, but I was born and raised in the U.S. I'm currently with a ADOS woman. I mean, am I seeing stuff? All my ADOS cousins, am I the one seeing stuff? Did she grow up in the same in the same time I grew up in, on the same planet, in the same country? Deal with the consequences later. This is the later. What are you talking about? And if you want to know what this did, once again, the cosmic justice. Shout out to Obsidian for that too. Well, Mr. Z said it before I ever heard Obsidian say it, so it's good to know that both of us are saying it. That cosmic justice thing, cosmic retribution. Hopefully, when people, essentially what she was saying is, hopefully when people go through what you go through, they'll understand and overstand. Yeah, y'all caught that. Yawn. They'll understand and overstand your plight, is essentially what she was saying, right? Translation, the world has treated us like crap. So maybe if we just let the table break, then black men will feel this too. Madam, have you seen that incarceration rate for black men? Do you see how many black men are going to college and university compared to black women? Right? Did you see what happened to George Floyd? Did you hear what happened to Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Right? This is that. I wish men could be women for a day so they could see what we go through. First of all, men don't underestimate what women go through, but women do a whole lot of underestimate what men go through. That's why when y'all transition over here this way, y'all be on self-delete watch, let's say. That's why you'll be crying y'all eyes out when y'all transition over here. When y'all have to realize what it is over here. Because you underestimated what we are and what we have to go through. Bitter ass. Hopefully, when they have to go through what you go through, then they'll understand and overstand your plight. You don't want these even Khadijah had to low-key give a tacit understanding of, yeah, for those of you that don't know what I'm referencing, Khadijah, queer black feminist out of Canada. I think she was born here in the US and raised here for a little bit and then moved to Canada as a child. But dark skinned sister out of Canada and queer, and she was speaking about the just hilarious trans conversation, and she was saying that she understands a lot of black women kind of holding on to their menstrual cycle and holding on to this thing that makes them a woman because they don't want to be treated like men. They understand the harshness. And I'm like, oh, so now y'all want to admit that. Yeah, lithium, rad feminist Khadijah, exactly. Now y'all want to admit that. Right? That's why I told y'all let them talk long enough. And every once in a while, they'll drop little things that they don't often say to let you know. Oh yeah, they listen. Mr. Z is not about treating women like children at all. You let them talk long enough, and they let you know they know exactly what this is. Right? They know exactly what this is. This young lady is throwing a fit because she probably got her little heart broken, or whoever she thinks she deserves is not attracted to her, or she saw some type of guy, some type of brother walking holding hands with some white woman or some Latina, and now she throwing a fit. I want to be very clear. The women don't have to sound like Mr. Z to be throwing a temper tantrum. I think we get this all the way messed up. Just because they speak like this doesn't mean they're not throwing a temper tantrum. It doesn't mean they're not acting like a petulant child. When they say, essentially, I want them to feel what we feel. And I've read this comment in different comment sections for these weirdos like Kim Foster. I want them to feel how we feel. I've read the comments in Real Talk with Yanni's comments, in Chrissy's comments. There's every once in a while in one of their videos, it's a random chick that'll say, I want them to feel how we feel. Exactly. Have you ever thought about if your feelings are irrational? Maybe even unwarranted. Maybe you're full of crap. Maybe you're delusional. Maybe you're throwing a fit because your delusions aren't coming to reality. So you want us to feel how you feel in a delusional state. Have you ever considered that? And I know it's so cliche to be calling women delusional, right? That's like right out, the cliche book, right? Chapter 4, page 7, right? Point number 3, say women are delusional. No, Mr. Z is not just throwing it out there that, okay, this is delusional. No, it truly is delusional, though. It truly is delusional. And calling it delusional does not automatically make me a sexist. But if I have to be a sexist because I just called you delusional, then so be it, right? Then so be it. The young lady is throwing a fit. Now, talking about fits, let's transition real quick to talking about Miss Princella. If I'm pronouncing her name correctly, so shout out to all you brothers that kept on saying, Z, you got to check out this lady. Z, you got to check out this lady. She sounds absolutely insane. And I finally did. So I listened, and shout out to the brother Edward Anderson. He covered her last night also. I listened to her speak literally a few hours before that. And it's very interesting. So when I started hearing her delivery, I'm like, damn, this sister sounds like she's from the Nation of Islam. Then she admitted she used to be with a brother that was from the Nation of Islam. Okay, cool. And, you know, the way she articulates herself and she all this facts and data, and she's really not about it, but okay. And thank you to the sisters from the breakdown. We often have our disagreements with those ladies, but they kept on pressing her, and she finally snapped. And after she told her story, I didn't need to hear anymore. I was done. Exactly what we thought it was. You're waging a jihad against black men. Black men, you saying men in general, stop it. Grow up. You're older than me, grow up. You're waging a jihad against black men because your dating life has sucked. And you might have been abused by your mom, or your mom lets you be abused. That part too. But, right? And shout out to the ladies. They just kept on asking her questions. And when she finally snapped and gave you her long ass diatribe story, all it was is, men have treated me horribly, so F them forever. And I want to pretty much turn this into the hive model and have a whole bunch of women eating vagina. I told you haven't I been saying it? You listen to these ladies long enough, y'all gonna be out there eating vagina. Ladies, you keep on listening to these other weirdo ladies long enough, you're going to be the bust down for rich dudes, mainly white old men with pot bellies that you told us you don't actually find attractive, but apparently you do find them attractive enough, excuse me. It's either going to be that or, right, or you're going to be eating vagina. Yeah, it's that serious. What y'all thought? I told you. These women are willing to use you against black men and watch you suffer in silence alone. All Princella is giving you is her weirdo logic for why you should be single and lonely. Because she couldn't make it work with men. And so now she's trying to give you her BS version of whatever she calls that. She calls it logic, I think. On why you should think like her and feel like her about men. Once again, another bitter Betty. Another bitter Betty. I told y'all, let them talk long enough. Let them talk long enough. First of all, you're going to end up in Auschwitz. You let them talk long enough. Right? So there's that. Right? But yeah, so the Miss Princella just they stole $40,000 from me here, and I was in a polygamous relationship there, and then my friends to backstab me here, and then they stole $2,000 from me there, and I'm yeah, there we go. So stop making it seem like it's about logic. It's not. It's about your emotions, which you're coating, not coding, but coating. COAT. Okay, whatever. I didn't say this is even spell. Which you're wrapping with your supposed logic, quote unquote logic, right? You're just a bitter Betty. This is not about emotion. Yes, it is. And that, by the way, that's okay. Mr. Z is not about calling people emotional just to trigger them, or to dismiss what they're saying just because they are emotional. First of all, it doesn't work on Mr. Z, and I'm not about trying to do that to others. Oh, you're being emotional, so let me just dismiss what you got to say out of hand, or out hand, right? But let's be very clear, ma'am. You were being emotional, and you're claiming you're being logical, and it's because you just can't make it work with men, and you had a daughter. You should have had a son. You should have had a son. I know, brothers, I know it's so cruel to wish a son on these women because we know what they're going to do to their son. Nah, I want them to still have that same energy raising a boy, knowing how they think about men. And then watching them have raise a son in this, knowing just like them about their son, that they should have aborted their son. That men ain't ish, black men ain't ish in particular, right? Yeah. Miss Princella is so, that's predictable over there. Predictable. I'm bitter, I'm angry. I'm bitter, I'm angry because I haven't made it work with men. My romantic relationships have been trash. I haven't been able to make these looks work for me. She's not an unattractive woman. Right? Y'all know I don't call women masculine, but right? And that's all it is. And I've said it before. These women can't make it work with men, so they think the best thing they could do is warp the minds of all women so that all men can suffer and women can suffer too. In other words, if I can't have one of y'all, let me burn everything to the ground. Right? I've said it before. Scorch earth. If I can't have what I want, scorch earth, everything. Everything to ashes. They think they Captain Yamamoto from Bleach. Right? They want to turn everything to ashes. If I can't have one of you the way I want it, burn everything to the ground. Loser. I said it. Let them talk. You let them talk long enough, and all they're going to do is tell you that you were right. They're not going to use those words, but you listen long enough, and all they do is vindicate what you were saying. Then you can move accordingly. Then you know it's not all in your head. Then you know you and other black men who've been saying it for decades aren't wrong. You're not these little, they're so sexist. They're misogynistic. Put the microphone in front of the ladies. That's, by the way, this is why I keep on referencing Kevin Samuels. This is what Kevin showed. Oh, wait, what you said, Oprah? Okay, look, we got the internet now. Let's put the microphone in front of your daughters real quick. Oh, you hear that? Okay, now what? These were your daughters that you said, if we just educate them, they won't need men, right? These are your daughters that came after Terry McMillan, right? These are your daughters that came after Bell Hooks. As a matter of fact, they recite Bell Hooks quotes like it's a goddamn rap song. And you hear how they sound now? Trying to remix patriarchy with feminism at the same time? Right? You listen to Princella talk, that's what it is. Just a bitter Betty, mad about her outcomes, and deciding, you know what, I'm taking all the women with me. First of all, not gonna happen. Secondly, whoever you take, good on them. I hope they have fun eating vagina. Because that's all that there's gonna be going on over there. Right? And you hear these ladies telling you, and that's why I keep on bringing up Real Talk with Yanni and her comment section with all those women that have been celibate for 10 years, sounding absolutely insane. See, it's one thing if you say, you know what, I'm gonna do a bout of celibacy, get my mind right, you know, get my mind right, I'm gonna be okay. No, these women be celibate, sounding even more insane than when they was out here hoeing. What? Right? Because they're not truly happy. And that's what Princella knows. And she's capitalizing off of it. And she has a convenient scapegoat for the ladies. It's the men. Mainly the black men. You see how she kept on trying to do that, oh, it's not about race thing? Yeah, nope. Right? Shout out to the ladies from the breakdown. They kept on asking her questions because she tried to play it cool in the beginning. Oh, see, I'm not talking about that. I'm only about logic over here. I'm only about facts and figures over here. You just let her keep on talking, and you keep on poking. You let her talk. You keep on poking, and then she finally snaps, and she gives you her little sob story, and then you're okay. There we go, and there we go. She is who we thought she was. She is who we thought she was. And then you got to look at people like Dr. Umar Johnson and be like, excuse me. You want us to turn this into a wife, right? First, bro, you just a super simp master. Trying to turn Sukiyana into some type of wifely person, not going to happen. Let Cynthia G tell you abort black male babies to your face, and then you, air quotes, forgive her even though she didn't ask for your forgiveness? Right? Go on the Daily Wrap-Up crew and lecture those young men about what? Doing for these a-hole women? Not going to happen. What can anybody do with a Princella? What can you do with her? She's going to tear any man she's with out the frame. In this stage of her life, she can't be with no younger brother or older brother. She can't be with no man. What can any man do with a woman like that? Bitter, angry, thinks she's being logical. Everything about her is emotional. Throwing a temper tantrum all across the interwebs. Because her relationship life is trash. Because she got played out of 40 grand. What'd that mean? Right? And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat. Well, Mr. Z, let them talk. They're talking. Right? Absolute insanity. And they think they're saying something. Y'all really need to do y'all history. That's the beauty of the Black Manosphere. We have the academics in here, and they go all the way back. We got academics going all the way back to the 18th century on y'all. BGS going back all the way back to actually before the 18th century. But we have academics going back to the 17th and 18th century. But when you listen to these women speak, you listen to the young lady talk about let the table break. You listen to Princella, you listen to Chrissy, you listen to Paris, you listen to Yanni. They all talk like what they're saying, like they're proposing something new. Like divesting is new, like swirling is new, right? Black men are trash. No, that's new parlance for an old concept that didn't work. It didn't work 20 years ago. It didn't work 40 years ago. It didn't work in the height of Jim Crow. It didn't work in slavery. It's not going to work. Princella think her radical feminist ways. What's that supposed to do for black women? Especially in the era of Ed Buck. Do you even know who that is, Princella? Yeah, black women are supposed to coalesce with other black women when, once again, black women don't make what y'all think they make. In the era of Ed Buck just ripping the shreds every little place y'all think y'all can hide. What's the hive model without white racist left largest? What's the radical feminist enclave without the radical left? What's that? How does it exist? Right? That's why you let them talk. You let them talk so we could get here. So they could throw the little temper tantrum and let you know what it really is. And then individual brothers move accordingly. And if you think that it's okay to engage with these women and still try to turn her into a wife, then you go ahead and commit suicide and do it. I wouldn't recommend it though. Y'all could let Boyce and Dr. Umar Johnson try to shame y'all into turning these women into wives. Y'all could let FD Signifier try to tone police y'all. Because there's very little difference between Amanda Seals, Princella, Ebony K. Williams, Chrissy, Yanni, Paris, Kim Foster. There's very little difference between these women. You let them talk long enough and they pretty much all sound the same. Right? And KW Don says, and thank you for the super chat, Princella Clark, aka hysterical. Princella Clark, aka Prince Fella, has no credentials in psychology or psychiatry. Oh, okay, I can't get that word out. Sorry, y'all. Why would any sane black woman listen to her? Because she's spewing the type of rhetoric they like. She needs intensive therapy. Psychiatry. There we go. Goddamn. You know when you're like right? But yeah, because she's spitting the type of rhetoric. See, this is the thing. I argue that we have people that got their little heart broken, right? They're feeling kind of down, right? They're going through a down moment. They recently broke up with their boyfriend, or they might have caught their man cheating, or they just feel they feel lonely, they feel rejected. The type of guy that they had their heart set on, they saw him walking down the street with some I don't know, with some other woman. Cool. They come across a Chrissy and a Yanni and a Princella, and instead of eventually getting over that initial heartbreak or that initial feeling of rejection, this is the thing that they say about us in the Black Manosphere, which is very interesting, right? But instead of getting over that feeling and having another woman usher you through and be like, no, you'll be all right. They stay mired in the men ain't ish, but particularly, obviously, black men ain't ish because all they do is listen to Princella. All they do is listen to Yanni, Shira 7, who's over here trying to pretty much teach them to scam dudes. That ain't going to turn out too well. Right? So they come across these people on the interwebs, Cynthia G and the like, and all they do is just spew this rhetoric. And so these women go from getting their little heart broken or breaking up with their boyfriend, and they go 1 month single, 6 months single, 9 months single, year single, 2 years single, 3 years single. Going 1 year celibate, 2 year celibate, 3 year celibate, 5 year celibate, 10 year celibate. Mess around listening to these women. Or, because they don't want to tell you, they go from one white guy to one Latino guy to another white guy to another Latino guy, being the bust down for white dudes and Latino guys for 5 years, 10 years, still no wedding ring. Hi, Chrissy. Right? And AB Media says, shout out to Sis George. You can tell she wasn't buying it at all. And she kept on poking. And you saw when Princella snapped, it was like, okay, yeah, we knew that. Why were you just covering that up? Just come out and say, I've had horrible relationships with men, so damn them to hell. Just say it. We already know you think it. You try to cover all of it with BS logic. So let me get this right. Let me get this right. You go on her channel and certain videos got tens of thousands of views, 16,000 views, whatever, 5,000 views. It all depends, right? Cool. So all of you women and even some men who subscribe to her, y'all didn't see this coming? Oh, wait. No, y'all subscribe to her because she thinks like this and you know it. But she makes it look good and sound good because she tries to code it with air quotes logic. When quote unquote logic, right? She's telling you she's using air quotes logic. And then we let her talk. We let other women press her just for, bro, they didn't even press her for a good like hour. They didn't have to press her. They didn't have to press her hard. They didn't have to press her for too long. Just add a little bit of pressure for a few minutes and boom, snap, there you go. And these are the people y'all get your wisdom from? Chrissy, Yanni, Shira 7, Princella. Y'all think Obsidian would snap like that? Y'all think BGS would snap like that? Y'all think Z would snap like that? I'm not putting myself in their league though. I'm just saying. Y'all think Dr. T would snap like that? Dr. Ron O'Neill, Green Gorilla might just because. Just because you tried him, Green Gorilla might. Right? You apply a little bit of pressure to Princella for a short time and she couldn't snap. And then she thinks she's doing something by giving us her story. Lady, that all you did was just justify to us that we're correct. You're just another bitter Betty. Thank you. Sounds like Jesse Wu. Same thing. Right? Kojo didn't even, but Kojo didn't even press Jesse Wu. He patty cake with Jesse Wu. and he let her snitch herself out, being the bust down for dope boys, being the bust down for some older Latino man. But yet all your rhetoric and your anger is towards black men, telling us how you low key jealous of your younger brothers because your mom treated them better. Wait, let me let's take that back. Not that your mom treated them better, that your mom wasn't as harsh to them as you feel that she was to you. You feel like your mom babied them, bro. If black women don't get the entire hell out of here with always my parents babied my brother, right? That's that whole we love our sons and we raise our daughters BS. Is that why your daughters are a-holes? Grown ass women throwing childlike temper tantrums, petulant children with degrees. Oh wait, because your daughter got a degree, she's not a petulant child? Because she's paying rent, that means she's not a petulant child? Kojo didn't even press Jessie Wu, and you hear how she sounded. Whole hypocrite. And GC says, what exactly is meant by her snapping? Haven't watched all the way through. Bruh, you keep on watching. Keep on watching and wait until you'll know the snap is coming. You can't miss it. I can't even explain it to you. You can't miss when she snapped. She goes off. She goes off on her tirade. Give you a whole backstory. Her life. Her she got played by this person out of 40 grand. She got played by this person out of 2 grand. She went out on some. She went out with some Mexican dude, almost drove her off the edge of a cliff, etc., etc. She just go off on this tirade, and you're just like, oh, there we go. Thank you, Earth. Meltdown of a lifetime. Right? Meltdown of a lifetime. And I want to be very clear. What I'm saying is there's not that big of a difference between the young lady, let the ship sink, between that young lady and Princella. Their delivery is different. Maybe some of their life experiences are different, but both of them are throwing petulant, child-like temper tantrums. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. Whether it's the young lady who speaks like this, who sounds demure, who's not using profanity, whether it's the young lady that speaks like this and says this is for black women specifically, right? She's trying to emphasize every syllable and specifically. Or did she say especially? Especially or specifically? There's no difference between the young lady that's speaking like this and Princella who's barking like this. Who sound like a whole brother from the Nation of Islam. And it's so I knew it because I heard her delivery and I'm like, but the sisters that I've come across that's from the Nation of Islam, they don't sound like her. The brothers from the Nation of Islam sound like her. Y'all make of that what y'all will. The sisters from the Nation of Islam they don't speak like that. The brothers do. Right? What I'm saying is there's a slight, maybe marginal difference because of delivery between Princella and the young lady saying, let the table sink. Excuse me, let the table sink. Well, yeah, let the table sink. Let the table break. Right? And let's play that clip again. Shout out to BGS. Shout out to Dr. Ron O'Neill. I know that BGS clipped something else from Dr. Ron O'Neill and he just put it together with that. I understand. But, shout out to Dr. Ron. Yeah, they're the ones who shred the social contract. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, right? But let's play this clip one more again, and here y'all go. Give Mrs. Z 1 second.
For black women specifically, black women specifically, let the table break. Let the building collapse. Let the ship sink. Let things go to the wayside. Sometimes the best thing that we can do is let things fall apart and teach others to rely on themselves, just like they taught you to rely on you. Because when people feel or experience, usually, hopefully, the same things as you are, they have better empathy and understanding of what it means to be you. You make it look easy. It is not. And I salute you. And that is why I'm telling you to let things hit the fan, to let the ship sink. Step to the side, put on your life jacket first, and deal with everything else after.
You make it look easy. It is not. Translation: Black girl magic, y'all. You make it look easy. It is not. Black girl magic talk. Y'all gonna stop with this weirdo manifest talk and this black girl magic talk. Black girl magic is built off of government and NGO and black men. Oops. That's what black girl magic is built off of. And black women that have made it to a certain position that make sure to flick some of the crumbs further downhill. There's no black girl magic. There's no human magic. It's systems. Black girl magic. Black girl magic is white women flicking crumbs down. Elite black women pretty much taking the whole crumb and then flicking crumbs of the crumb down. Black girl magic is Goldman Sachs doing for black women. There's no black girl magic. Black girl magic is Oprah doing for black women. Black girl magic is Dr. Dre giving whatever money he gave to what UCLA. Black girl magic is LeBron doing whatever he did with the charter school. Or Oprah opening that school in South Africa. Black girl magic is Will Smith is the reason why we even still know who the hell Jada Pinkett Smith is. She would have been Jasmine Guy if it wasn't for Will Smith. That's black girl magic. Black girl magic. Black girl magic is built off of systems. We make it look easy. It is not. You make it look easy. If I snatch away every single organization and government handout and black women still succeed, that then maybe you could call black girl magic. Maybe, and that's a hard maybe. Right? If the Obama administration doesn't have an office for women and girls, then maybe you could claim black girl magic. Maybe. Right? If the media is now running interference for Gail and Oprah after Gail presses Lisa Leslie to talk crap about Kobe and his death, and Snoop Dogg checks her ass, and then the white media runs interference for Gail. If the white media doesn't run interference, then maybe you could call what Gail was engaging in and didn't. Mr. Z, we'll skip over that. Then maybe you could call that black girl magic. Black girl magic. What is black girl magic without systems? Without handouts? Without a lookout? Without progressive black men in Congress? Wait, let's get to that. What is black girl magic without progressive black men in Congress? All that crap y'all talking about black men. Every chance black men get to look out for women, they do it. Including black women. Including the same black women that call them dusties. Black women, black men that are married to black. Understand, Byron Allen is married to a white woman, and he still employs Ebony K. Williams to turn around and talk crap about black men. What is Ebony K. Williams right now without Byron Allen? Oops. She don't got the white man no more. Oh, wait. You don't got the white man's money anymore. A wealthy black man employs you to turn around and talk crap about black men. And then we got this young lady talking about we make it look easy. It is not. Knock knock, who's there? Black men's shoulders that you're standing on. We make it look easy. It is not. Then maybe they'll understand and overstand. Yawn. And Toya, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. Thank you for being in here. Lame, bitter ass. All these weirdo concepts, weirdo ideas. You got Princella on one end, pretty much trying to wage a jihad against black men, using black women as cannon fodder, using the heartbreak of black women against those same black women. I will give the ladies from the breakdown that they could smell it from a million miles away. And you could see she was growing in anger. I don't give an F about those men. I don't give an F about black men. I don't give an F about men. Exactly. And there we go. This is not about black men. This is not about men. Actually, it is. You know how we could tell? Look how you're acting. You admitted, whether you realize it or not, that what you're really trying to do is what is it called, Trell? I keep on saying the wrong thing. Lysistrata? If we could just get the black women, if we could just get women to close their legs, then we'll break them in, and then they'll act the way we want them to act for the vagina. Well, low key, it actually sounds like you really want black women to be eating vagina. I'm just saying. And cool, if they want to do that, then that's okay. Right? And Telescope says, and thank you for the super chat, she's sounding just like that prisoner who's just the best read one in the cell block, just emotional and loud, but their rap doesn't stand up to real world analysis critique. And that's crazy. Y'all understand, and thank you, Telescope. That's exactly what I'm saying. The ladies from the breakdown didn't even really, they didn't press her aggressively. They didn't even press her for a long time, and she just snapped. That means your whole project is built on a house of cards, a flimsy house of cards at that. And House of Cards is pretty damn flimsy. For the ladies to not even really press you, and you implode like that, explode, let's say. They didn't even really press you. And here come all of, you might as well cried. At least maybe you could have got some sympathy from somebody, not Z. But see, and that's the difference I would argue between white women, and white women know how to put on them crocodile tears. They might feel the same way, but they'll put on the crocodile tears and try to get some sympathy. Not black women like Miss Princella. They go the opposite direction. They bark and they yell and they scream and they throw a temper tantrum. While they're telling you they're not throwing a temper tantrum. This is not about black men. This is not about men. F men. I'm not talking about men. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. As a matter of fact, all you were doing was talking about men, actually. Right? Actually, all you were doing was talking about black men. You're just trying to use other black women and women in general as cannon fodder against men because you can't make it work. Shout out to you and Yanni. Maybe you and Yanni need to become best Clinton buddies because essentially you're saying the same thing she's saying. Decenter men. You're not using those same words, at least not on the breakdown, but y'all are saying the same thing. Decenter men, and I'm all for it. Y'all go over there and go eat some vagina together. Both of y'all are literally saying the same thing. What's the incentive? I want to be a kept woman of leisure. The difference is Yanni's coming at it from a more secular view, and you coming at it from some weirdo Nation of Islam feminist slash sort of kind of patriarchy with no power point of view. But y'all still end up in the same place. Black men ain't ish because they didn't give me what I wanted. Get y'all lame square asses the hell up off the stage. Where's the Sandman when you need him? So yeah, Telescope's right. Emotional and loud. But in the real world, your analysis doesn't stand up to critique. Look how quickly you lost your cool. By the way, for all of you that keep on, that's why I continue to bring up that Ben Shapiro conversation he had with the journalist in Britain. When he's not debating 19-year-olds in college. And he tries to do his fast talk thing. And he's actually having a conversation with somebody who's somewhat aligned with his political view, just a older British gentleman. And he snaps, and then he turns into the little 12-year-old white girl that he actually is. I'm more popular than you. Nobody even knows who you are. Ben Shapiro, you realize you're Ben Shapiro, right? You know you shouldn't. Okay, all right. The same thing with Princella. You're on the panel with black women who are, even if they don't agree with you, they're somewhat understanding of why you're saying the things you're saying. And they just press you just a little bit to explain, and you snap. And then you let us see who you really are behind your fake logic mask. See, feelings don't got nothing to do with this. This is not about emotion. 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, and this is what I'm on, Trell. This is exactly what I'm on. This is exactly what I'm on. And Trell says, although I now understand what is going on, I cannot and will I cannot, I know what you mean, and will not tolerate such behavior. Sorry, go fix yourself. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm on. Ladies, I get it. I get it. You live in America, you live in the West. You see white women prancing around here with their teacup dogs in their bag, right? Driving some big, huge S600 Maybach or some convertible Benz, some convertible Beamer. Or you're at work and your white homegirl, your white coworker is lying to you about how great her life is. And you want that life. And you put the onus on black men to give you that life. I understand. I understand living in a country with that European beauty standard, and you think white women got it made. Ooh, you think white women got it made. And you low-key jealous of Asian women because Asian women just got here in the late 60s, early 70s, and they already got their daughters marrying white men like it's a goddamn competition. I get it. What does that have to do with black men, though? Goddamn. Just admit you're jealous of white women and let's move on. That you're delusional and you over romanticize their position. But dear black women, you don't actually want white women's life. Because there's rules and regulations to why they get what they get. They don't just get it off a GP. Stop lying to yourself. White women get to be monsters and they get to have husbands. 10 years later, tonight on Channel 7 News, such and such, Miss such and such has gone missing, and we haven't seen her husband in a few days. But yet white women get to do what they want to do and be who they want to be with no repercussions, right? All right. Whole lot of white women in the grave that would say otherwise. There's a whole lot of white women. There's a whole lot of white women that thought they could move and sound and talk like black women, and they don't got no damn man. But you're coveting their position. When let's be frank, most black women can't deal with what comes with being a white woman. Do y'all want to date the white dude that don't care about his appearance and that wears cargo jeans with flip-flops with his toes out? Half the guys that earn six figures or near six figures, that's how they go out. An old dingy ball cap, baseball cap with an old dingy t-shirt and some cargo shorts with his flip-flops with the toes out. There go Mr. $85,000 a year, Mr. 90, 100, and $110,000 a year. That's him. He put on a little bit of weight. The gut is starting to poke out. He's 37 years old. He's starting to grow a bald patch. He's still rather not go bald, so the bald patch is starting to show a little bit more. That's what 90 grand a year look like. These movies and television shows got y'all all the way messed up. That doesn't mean there's not chiseled chin Brad's walking around here earning 120 and he's 6'2" and he's chiseled chin with a washboard abs or a six-pack. That is not what Mr. Z is saying. I'm saying that's rare. And that dude, you better grab a ticket for that guy. But if you want a little bit less competition for Mr. 85, 90, 100, $120,000 a year white man, then you dealing with the guy that's 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", 200 pounds, 205 with a gut, balding, wearing the cargo shorts with the flip-flops, with the chacletas, and the dingy t-shirt. Right? Oh, thank you, Tro. Don't forget the increased back hair. Thank you. Right? So when this young lady talk, let the table break. The table breaking means black women either engage in same-sex relationships or y'all go run after Mr. Balding, potbelly, back hair, $120,000 a year white guy. Right? All the things you say you won't, all the things you say you find disgusting about those the same black male equivalent, you'll be perfectly okay with the white male equivalent. And a couple of y'all sisters could do it. Most of y'all can't. Let's be honest. A couple of y'all will give that white dude a vagina. The rest of you will throw up in your mouth. So stop comparing black men. That's why I know y'all full of crap. Stop comparing black men to the white men you don't even find attractive or appealing. Both of these ladies are throwing temper tantrums. Yawn. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Detroit says, thank you for the super chat. And Detroit says, by the way, I'd invented the word Simpsons. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Detroit. Right. And so I'm gonna drop the link because we got about a little over an hour, maybe. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And yeah. And shout out to the ladies on after the snap. I watched a little bit after the snap, trying to watch her come back down and trying to rationalize her insanity. Right. And I can understand why there's women, black women, who gravitate to her. I get it. First of all, y'all feel the same way. Secondly, her delivery is like a dude, so it sounds logical. Her delivery is like a brother out of the Nation of Islam. Right? So I can definitely understand Why? It's the same thing that much of the black community does with white folks. Y'all, when it's a black person that do it, it's meh, whatever. White dude do the same thing. Oh, look, he could do the two-step. So Princella is presenting like a brother from the Nation of Islam. And so you wouldn't listen to the brother, but you'll listen to her. All right. I understand why y'all gravitate to that with her fake logic. It's not about feelings. It's not about emotions. I'm cold calculating. It's about logic. Yawn. Earth said Oswald Bates Diction. Right? I wish I was good at accents, man. I really wish I was good at accents. And like different, like the Bostonian accent and the, California dude bro, LA kind of surfer bro accent and the, because I suck the British accent. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. Right? I wish I could do the Farrakhan. I can't. Right? Right? And then the other young lady. And after this, I'm gonna drop the link. The other young lady, yawn. Let the table break. Let the building collapse. Let the ship sink. Right? And what? Because she speaks like that, y'all think she ain't throwing a temper tantrum just like Priscilla? She not throwing a temper tantrum just like Yanni? They're all throwing temper tantrums. At least Cynthia G got the ovaries to say it. She's trying to destroy the black community. At least she has the ovaries to say it. Princella act like she's doing black women a service by bringing them into some logic, some understanding, when you're really just throwing a fit and waging jihad against black men. Chrissy, same thing. It's colorism, it's texturism, it's featureism. No, it's that you're not desirable or you can't keep or get the man you think you deserve. Everything else is just you with your fake logic trying to rationalize why you're doing what you're doing and why you sound the way you sound. Right? You see what I'm thank you, Telescope. One noisy tantrum, one quiet tantrum, both with good enunciation. That's all. Destro said the clam bake cult. Right? So we're gonna play this one more time and then I'm gonna drop a link. Right? So let's do this. That's all that is. It's temper tantrum. That's all y'all doing. From now, dear ladies, it's okay. Look, if we have a term in the black manosphere, and in I think yeah, the white guys have it too, if I'm not mistaken, called red pill rage. Shout out to the brother the Roger Report. What we came up with it on his channel. I think the Roger Report was the one who said it, right. Low value rage. No low yeah, low value rage. That's all. You going through the rage? Oh wait! I done went too far. Yeah, let's do that again. Right? That's all it is. You going through the rage of realizing that maybe what you thought you were to the masses of men, in black women's case, particularly black men, you're not. And so you going through a rage. Right? Do like Maya and marry yourself. Goddamn. Right? Or do like Chili, get your money up and go find you a younger white dude and pay his way through life. Or like Lonnie Love and maybe get you a middle-aged white gentleman and pay his way through life. Right? Or kind of do like Aisha Taylor and kind of distance yourself from black dudes and marry your okay white man. Struggle to have a child. I know that they actually did struggle. It's not that like they weren't trying. Divorce him and then end up with a white woman. Goddamn. Right? Y'all got choices, black women. Y'all got choices. So let's play this lady one more time, like Telescope said, with her quiet tantrum. It's still a tantrum.
For black women specifically, let the table break. Let the building collapse. Let the ship sink. Let things go to the wayside. Sometimes the best thing that we can do is let things fall apart and teach others to rely on themselves, just like they taught you to rely on you. Because when people feel or experience, usually, hopefully, the same things as you are, they have better empathy and understanding of what it means to be you. You make it look easy. It is not. And I salute you. And that is why I'm telling you to let things hit the fan, to let the ship sink. Step to the side, put on your life jacket first, and deal with everything else after.
Deal with everything after. This is the after. Number one. Definitely the let them rely on themselves like they made you rely on you type comment. Bruh, if that look, just because her delivery is this right here, understand she is seething. I'm surprised her skin is still attached to her body and it melt off. She is seething. That let them rely on themselves like they pretty much made you rely on you. You have to rely on you yourself. That's that these excuse me, these niggas wasn't here for us. Right? We're in these classes in college by ourselves with these white people. We're in these office buildings by ourselves with these white people. You chose to be in those environments. I just want to put that out there. They're not protect. You know what they really mean by oh, y'all want to go real deep into it? Toya, tell me I'm wrong. You want to know what they really mean by protecting them? Protecting them from having to see Becky have a great life. I'm telling y'all that crazy. Protect them from feeling inadequate when they're sitting next to Becky. You think I'm lying. Y'all think I'm lying. Protect them from feeling less than because they're sitting next to Consuela and Becky and they're comparing hair length. Right? Protect them from feeling less than when they sit next to Becky. You didn't put her in the position to stunt on Becky. Right? This is no longer, and keep it 100 is exactly 100% correct. Mr. Zia said this also. This is not about stability. This is about opulence. This is about luxury. Protect her from feeling less than when she's sitting next to Becky. If she can't stunt on Becky, then why are you here? So yeah, the young lady is saying what they really on. Let them rely on themselves, like you had to rely on yourself. Oh, weak, bitter ass. This is for black women specifically. Specifically. And thank you, Trell, for the super sticker. Right? Pathetic. So understand, there's not much a big difference between all of these people. All of them. Right? Chrissy over here making fun of black women in 50-50 relationships with their man. Translation, if I got to do that, I might as well be single. So that's her throwing a temper tantrum. Yanni told you, I want to be a kept woman of luxury I can do for myself because Yanni's making good YouTube money. So she looking for a dude to at least maintain that, but really to provide her with even better. So that's why she's like, what's the incentive? That's her throwing a temper tantrum. Cynthia G pretty much told y'all, I don't care what I did with Rob. I don't care what I did. I should still have the best life, even though I keep on choosing wrong. It don't matter. Why can't I be like a white woman? Choose wrong, have a baby from a dude that already had babies from other women, and still end up in the best position ever. Okay, I can't do that? All right, then torch the entire black community. That's Cynthia G throwing a temper tantrum. Khadijah told y'all, I'm all the way out there. I'm queer now. That's Khadijah throwing a temper tantrum. If I'm gonna be a dark-skinned black woman with these type of features and I'm not gonna be rated at the top, I'll give up the entire game. I don't even mess with men no more. Once again, that's Khadijah throwing a temper tantrum. Kim Foster is following a long line of black women intellectualizing their misandry. Pretty much saying, if I can't have the 6'1" man that earns a quarter, that's why I'm so glad Gigi caught it too. If I can't have the 6'1" man that earns $250,000 a year, to hell with all of it. That's Kim Foster throwing a temper tantrum. Princella throwing a temper tantrum. They took 40 grand from me here. They took 2 grand from me there. I tried dating out my race to the Mexican guy. He almost drove me off the edge of a cliff. And y'all literally saw her throw a temper tantrum. So I don't even got to tie that to anything. Y'all saw her throw the damn temper tantrum on the breakdown. So Princella throwing temper tantrums. When I first said they're throwing temper tantrums, exhibit A, B, C, D, E. They're truly throwing temper tantrums. I didn't just say it to say it. They're really throwing temper tantrums. Right? I know it sounds a bit hyperbolic sometimes, but no, they're really throwing temper tantrums. And there y'all go with the link. All right. Charleston can't stun on Bex for real. Right? Stunner withdrawal. Man. If I can't show off, if I can't live the life of luxury, then what is the point of it all? Right? What's the point of it all? If I can't have this particular life, what's the point of it all? I get it. Right? What's going on, Better You?
Yo, what's up, Z?
What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. You asked a question during the stream.
Go
You
ahead.
asked, who would Ebony Williams be if it wasn't for the brother that owns the grill.
Yeah, Byron Allen.
And I had an answer. See,
Go ahead.
she'd be a black lady with 2 vials of black sperm.
Good point. Good point. Good point. You're right. Good point. Good point. Still bitter. Still talking crap on the Breakfast Club. Just not on the grill. Well, what she did say originally was on the grill. So if she wasn't on the grill, would we even know that this is the way she think?
Probably not. Well,
you see what I'm saying?
You never know. She might get a YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's true. But would Iyanla have gone on if it wasn't for the grill? You see what I'm saying? Because all of this starts on the grill.
I'll say this. I actually probably think if she was big enough, probably, yeah. Because
yeah, that's true.
Sorority, fraternity, sorority connections, like we do solids for each other. And you know, it's part of being a part of the network. So
true.
But I think it's really interesting because you hear if with a lot of these ladies when they speak, there is I don't know if it's ignorance or if I don't know if ignorance is the right term, but I'm gonna go with it. To how their experiences may not be the norm, and it seems like they're completely unaware as to any role and part that they may have played in their own outcomes. And I'm not trying to victim blame or anything there, but like, you know, if you're picking fights with everybody and you know how to block, like maybe it's your fault. You keep getting knocked the fuck out.
But this is a thing. If I was raised that all my interactions with men, I am correct and I am on the right side of history. Like, we may want the same things, but I want them for a wholesome, positive, good reason. You want them because you're a selfish, mean, patriarchal, or aspiring to be patriarch reason, right? Excuse me. Just drink some soda and I'm over here burping. Excuse me. But you are the reasons why you want these things is for domination, for control, for power. I want these things to better me and you and whatever children we may have in the future. You want these things to dominate. So if you were raised with that kind of feminist backdrop, then of course, any interaction with men where it doesn't turn out positive, it's always the men's fault. So of course they're not going to be self-reflective, especially not in a vacuum. Oh, definitely not. Now you asking her to take on responsibility and accountability for what she might have contributed to this situation that didn't turn out that well. Oh no, they can't do that. Nope.
See, and this is, I really feel a lot of this, that outlook and that sentiment comes from that the moral justification and the greater than thy comes from the way that a lot of intersectionality is incorrectly applied. Being honest, when you talk about what Black women face and what Black men face, it is different because I feel like everybody thinks of white supremacy as this hammer that hits everybody the same way, and it's it's a surgeon with a scalpel. Like, he's gonna fuck you the worst way for you. It's just like the same way that what we face and what Latinos may face. Yeah, there may be some similarities, but there's some differences because their differences means that the system has to be critiqued and tailored a certain way to get the best result to fuck them. And there's a lack of understanding in that. And there's this, I've come into it in corporate where it's like this sentiment that like, oh, okay, well, you know, you're a man, you don't go through what women go through. Yeah, I don't go through what you go through. You don't go through what I go through either.
The women don't want to go through. They don't fully appreciate what we go through. You're correct about this. I kind of lost the train of thought. Keep on going. I'm going to try to bring it back. Keep on going. My apologies.
Oh no, you did. No, and there's an intersectional argument to be made for For black men, that is
Yep. Yep.
every ounce is as potent as that for black women.
Yeah.
And when you lose sight of that, and I'm sorry, it's just like one of those things where I don't get the dichotomy. Like, how can she be an angel and he be the devil?
Well, yeah, especially when we grow up. Well, this is where
Same
they
house.
start throwing. That's exactly. So this is where they start throwing our parents under the bus. This is where they throw their own mothers under the bus, right? Which is the she babied our brother. She and this is where Jesse Wu comes in, right? This is that. Well, my mom, she spoiled. Like, look, my brothers can't do this. Like Jesse Wu don't. She she. Let's say she did work hard and she put herself in the right environment to get to where she is, but she doesn't appreciate that window that she fit in, right? So she could then turn around at her brother and be like, "Well, you're not where I'm at because mom babied you too much." Because they don't. This is the thing. You don't actually think that the system is on black men's neck tougher than black women. So when you find yourself in a better position than black men, and as a whole, right? You think it's because they're not trying, and that's okay. End up with the white dude then. But then you go through it trying to end up with that person, not realizing it's the same system. The same system that informs that white guy that all he got to do with you is sleep with you and did not take you seriously because he was trying to get you off a bucket list, but it's you're not a viable wife, is the same exact system that has its foot on your brother's neck more than yours. That's the same exact system.
Oh yeah.
But you don't appreciate it when it's on your brother's neck. But you do feel a certain way when that same white dude flexes white man power on you by flirting with you, sleeping with you, and then tossing you to the side because you was never wife candidate. I'm just saying.
And I go one step further, Z.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these types of women, because I want to be very clear. Like I'm not. There's a lot of great black women that I know that have supported me. Like these types that talk like this, that think like this.
Mm-hmm.
They're part of that system, and they're part of the problem, the very problem that they complain about.
Uh-oh.
I can't tell you, like real talk. If you've ever worked, I know you've worked in corporate in law.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever worked at a corporate job, I can guarantee you go to one DE&I meeting, they gonna say the exact same thing. We have a problem with recruiting and promoting Black and Latino men. And when you look at who's the recruiters, they're Black and Latino women. So at the very onset to get into the organization, I gotta get through you.
Yeah.
But if you think that I'm less than, if you think I'm a devil, if you think I'm dusty, if you think I'm a nigger,
Better
if you think
can
I'm
I
all of
say
these
it?
things,
Let me just skip let's get right to it, better you. You are white racist society's guard dog.
Amen.
I just let's get right to what you. I know exactly what you say. Let's get right. You are the overseer now. The white man gave you the whip. He taught you through his education system. The only difference is that he lets you code it under feminism and female empowerment. I want to say white women empowerment, which it is. Let's be very clear. And so you're having a problem getting these people into the office, right? Or into the corporation or into the company. But are you really though? Do you really want to bring them in? Probably not. So you have a problem recruiting these people because your sentiments are the sentiments of an upper middle class white woman. Of course, you have a problem bringing in Black men and Latino men because you think like an upper middle class white woman. That's all. Go ahead.
I know facts, 100% facts. And the thing about it is, a lot of those demographics hold truths to a lot less extent for white men. But the big difference when it comes down to white men is, if you look at the organization, a lot of org shops, they really diverse at the floor. That frontline management class, a little bit less diverse. But you go up just one or two steps of management,
white,
lily white.
That's the point. That is the point. That is the exact point right there. That is the exact, and that's all. Look, bruh, I stand in awe of white supremacy because I am of the belief that you don't really need white folks anymore to have it.
Oh, no.
They've done a masterful job at socializing us to essentially move, think, feel the way they do, which is perfect for them to maintain the system as it is, because all of the people down the line who are not white have their sentimentality, and so you're going to do their bidding. That's all. And the women, that includes the women, and what makes what the women are doing even more pernicious is that they think they're more moral than the men. They don't see the men are doing what they're doing. What the way the society portrays it is, men are doing what they're doing because we're trying to be like white men, right? We're trying to be white patriarchs. White, black men, Latino men, Asian men all feel that our masculinity is lacking, so we're trying to imitate white men, right? Whereas the women are not trying to imitate white women or white men. The women of color just want justice. They want their own little piece of the pie, and they're gonna go bugger off somewhere, right? They're not jealous of white women. They don't want the power of white men. They don't want white men themselves. None of that. And so because the frame is that women get to always come in through the back door, through some morality back door, right into the house of power. Right? So when they're in these positions of power, then they get to claim, oh, look, why are we struggling to get Latino men and black men in here? Bitch, because you're a white woman. You don't want to think that white because you listen to hip hop music. What's different than you in the loud the white chick that has sex with black dudes and has a white husband? What's different than between you and the chick that's cheating on her white husband with the brother from the file room? Nothing. You just so happen to be a black woman moving that way.
The difference is she celebrates Juneteenth.
Right? Good point. Good point. You mean the holiday she ain't know existed until 2 years ago? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, right. And that's, I mean, man, it gets so deep. I don't know if these women have ever questioned why it is that they were given the power that they were given, that they were given the position that they were given.
They think it's straight hard work, bro. In a vacuum too. Not hard work plus white uplift plus white society playing a very dangerous game of class and using a particular group of women as a buffer class for the masses of working class men because they don't fear the women. That's why they gave them the position. They don't fear you. They listen, all these white male bosses, first of all, they know you never gonna run up. They know they never, ever, ever have to be threatened from your physicality ever. And if you ever lose your mind and do, he know he could take you. So that's why they put you in those positions. Plus, he know he could fuck you. Ooh, I said that out loud. And so there you go. That's number one. Number two. And so you act as the buffer class. And because of it, like you said, what I find fascinating about that is, like you said, they never actually question that position. I always say, like, it's one thing to be talented. Nobody's taking away from your talent and your hard work, and that you put your head down when you were in college and you did the work and you stayed overnight and you were typing all through the night for your paper. I'm not taking away from the grind. What I'm saying is the grind and the talent meant nothing if the white people didn't approve of you. You have to ask yourself, why did they approve of you? And is it all above board reasons? Is it all, oh yeah, no, Shamika, oh yeah, she's good. She does this, she does that. Yeah, that's why we're promoting her. Is it all of those reasons, or is it also, yeah, Shamika look like she don't like black men? That's perfect. We put her in HR.
And you don't know
that'd be one of the reasons too. Go ahead.
You know the craziest thing about it too? Mm-hmm. I've had a couple of white bosses that I've been really, really cool with. Mm-hmm. And the shocking, well, I can't even say shocking. It was shocking at first. But you know, after work, at the bar, or he just like invited you over for the weekend barbecue, and you start talking about the crazy week, and you find out, oh yeah, man, shit. Let me tell you about Keisha. Keisha came in my office, locked the door, and tried to throw that thing at me. Nigga, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Unsolicited.
Yeah. I said it before. There was a older sister that called into Gus T Renegade years and years ago, and she said it. She said, remember, this is a black woman calling the Gusty Renegade and say, same thing you just said, better. Listen, brothers, y'all will be surprised how many of these black women are having sex with these white men in these offices, in these firms, right? Like they come back to you in the hood acting like everything is fine and dandy, but and like I know that I worked at two offices between 2010 to the end of 2015. So from the beginning of 2010 to the end of 2015, I'm telling y'all will be surprised who these sisters is giving the vagina to. But let me get this out real quick. No placeholder. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. And who else? RO. He says, why then is half of all white supremacy is found in black women's bellies? What? It's funny because it's funny.
I mean, even that shit is deep.
Hey, for real. Right. What's going on, PK? But yeah, man, like that, and so that we just talked about like the fact that certain like you see this temper tantrum, Priscilla is engaging in, what this other young lady is engaging in, and they both saying the same thing in different ways.
Well, it's a cry. It's actually a cry to white daddy. That's what it is. I mean, we really don't look at it for what it is when these quote unquote sisters. I don't see them that way, but for lack of a better word, really that's what it is in many respects. If it's not a cry to get us to act right, it's a cry for them to be taken by them and be accepted and essentially be made their concubines and wives. I mean, they're already trying to give it up in these law offices. Really, in all these other contexts, they're really doing their best to try to throw it at them. It's just that for the most part, white men aren't biting.
Aren't moved. They're not. First of all, they're not biting, like you said, and then if they do engage, they're not. It doesn't. Look, ladies, if the white guy's not in the black woman, he's not gonna be in the black women even after he pipe. You just got knocked off a bucket list. Now he could come. Now he's gonna come to me, better you and PK, talking about how he ain't racist because he didn't slept with you. That's the only thing you did. You gave him a pass and the saying racist things, claiming he ain't racist. But it does not change at all whether he's gonna marry a black woman. Maybe even if it's not you, if he wasn't into that before, he's still not into it after the fact. Dear with ladies,
I mean, like it's actually a continuation or an inertia coming off of the plantation, as someone said in the comment section, man. Because if they're not in the house giving it up to master, now they're deciding they're gonna do it. They wanted to do it in the house post slavery, and then now they want to do it in the office right next to the workplace. Nothing really changed.
Let me read this with K. And K Dot says, Z, black women make books about their fantasies of them sleeping with white boss. Bro, it at the end of the day, look, I understand the system we live in. I get it. Dear ladies, I might understand it better than you understand it, right? And that's not even me being arrogant. I get it. Right, like we bring up all the time, 54% of American-born Asian women are married outside of their race. The vast majority of that, the vast majority of that is to white men. We get it. We know that the Latinas many of them are aspiring to be with white men if they can't. White men over even white Latino men, like white men over white Latino men. We get it, right? We know about how many indigenous women are married to white men or aspiring to be married to white men. We get it, and wait a minute, black women, right? So we understand. The only problem we got really with black women is that you feel like you need to throw black men under the bus to get with white zaddy who doesn't care either way. If he's in the black women, he's going to be in the black women whether you have that rhetoric or not. Right? The only white dudes that you really get, the only white dudes, excuse me, if the white dude is racist, then he requires you speak like that. Have fun with that relationship at the end of it. When everything goes left, have fun with that relationship. It's gonna be a whole lot of inwards flying in that thing.
Well, the thing is that they actually the wildest part about that in particular is some of them, not all, because it's a I told you before, man, a lot of women believe this shit. A lot of black women in particular believe this shit, but it's a matter of degrees. It's
Yep.
how far are they willing to go down that rabbit hole? And for some of them, they're quite fine with going full blown racists. They're
I
okay with
agree.
that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You
I
know,
agree.
that's where a lot of that race play shit comes from. It ain't no, it's a, like I said, it's an extension of how they view themselves in the dynamic of American society. So they carry that, not only in the bedroom but throughout their views, their subconscious, and it plays out by virtue of them essentially becoming the white supremacists in blackface. They essentially coons.
That's true. And then here I go. Spain Man speaks to that. He said, I have said before that I once ran across a poll that stated that black women have had more IR sex than black men. This was prior to my intro to the black manosphere, and it threw me off. Bruh, it look, we can see that with the 15% of quote unquote black children that are sired from non-black men. We can see that, right? So with your look, I'm not about regulating black women's vagina, bro. I'm not. But at the end of the day, you missed the boat, dear millennial, younger Xer, and Gen Z women. Unfortunately for you, you're not boomer and older. We got the internet. We have paternity tests, right? Unfortunately for you, you live in a technological age, and so you can't pull none of these stunts like that no more. We're watching what you saying, we watching what you doing, you bragging about who you screwing. So you don't get to, and I get it. It's part of the biological imperative to try to mate with who you think is the highest grade, and it fail and fall on its face, and then you try to bring that child to one of us. And no, sorry, I get it. All of y'all got the Sierra prayer thing working, or at least you hope.
Well,
And you throwing a temper tantrum that it ain't working. I'm sorry. Go ahead. PK and then you go ahead.
the difference in between, I would say, your younger folks below a certain age and the older folks is not only the internet, age of the internet, but
Mhm.
also by virtue of the fact that I don't I think we have a different mentality insofar as it pertains to what we are willing to accept, because I think that in the past these people were much more willing to look away by virtue of essentially trying to quote unquote save the black race. That
Yeah.
was their justification behind why they did what they did.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think that our line is much, our bar or barometer for what we're willing to accept is higher and lower, if that makes any sense. Like, we're not willing to accept the fact that we're dealing with essentially a racist. I don't think that
Yeah.
anyone's gonna, like, a lot of younger black men are just not going, you know, and that's for a variety of reasons. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that we are number one going to accept the mistreatment and the racism on top of it. Like, you can't. We're not, number one. We don't want the mistreatment, then you're adding on the racism as an extra layer to unpack?
Yeah.
No.
The lithium says the great unmasking. I say the internet will expose us all, right? Yeah, and I agree with that. The great unmasking. That's exactly right. That's exactly. And on top of what PK said, what? Okay, so just like how we speak about, the women now not necessarily seeking stability, it's got to be extravagant and opulence for many of them. On the other side, I don't think they appreciate how much you can preoccupy your time now as a man. We have cars, we have fast modes of transport. You, depending on what city you live in, you have your trains, your buses. We have the internet, we have online video games, we have streaming. So men can occupy their time and not necessarily feel the sting of not having sex as much, or not having a girlfriend or whatever. It would still bother brothers, but it's not the same. And I don't think women really take for granted that, like, these brothers ain't, they're not starving the way you think, right? Like, if you take the vagina off the table, it ain't the end of the world the way you think. And I think COVID, and a bunch of people are saying this also, so this is not new, but COVID actually solidified for men that they can survive without sex.
Oh
And
yeah.
women just don't appreciate the environment. That's why they're running around with their like a chicken with his head cut off. Because they're like, wait a minute, I took the vagina off the table and the men's still not budging the way I wanted them to. And I was like, and I think for us it's like, yeah, what did you think? You know what it is? We listen to you. Men, black men listen to black women. We listen, like y'all know about me. Like I'm listening to them speak on their platforms. I'm reading through the comments, getting a sense of where they are mentally. It's I don't suggest it, right? But on the other side, a handful of their content creators are snooping and listen over here and ear hustle. But for the most part, they can't take what we're saying. So they have to deal with the consequences of not only not listening and then not caring to listen, not caring to try to understand, even for their own benefit, even if it was going to be completely selfish, because you don't actually appreciate that men have the internet, that men have video games, that men have things to occupy their time, so that this sex and relationship and intimacy thing is not or the lack thereof is not the end of the world. Because you don't appreciate it, you end up in the situations you are in now, where you could easily find yourself 5 years celibate, easily. And there's women in Yanni section in comment section literally saying they've been 3, 5, 10 years celibate. You can find yourself like that because you don't appreciate what men are and what men are saying and what men value. Right? Go ahead, better you.
Yeah, there's a underestimation of manhood and the propensity of suffering that men can endure.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, uh, we can take some fucked up shit for a long time
Mm-hmm.
in a way that a lot of times women would lose their shit over,
Yeah.
and that is the big, if you want to say, miscalculation in a lot of it, because oftentimes, just being real and just being honest as a black man, oftentimes you went without your whole life in
Yeah.
one regard or another.
Yeah.
Whether it was equipment at the job, whether it was, resources at school, whatever it may be. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a
Good
reason
point.
why nigga rig is a thing.
Right? And I don't think they understand it. Your average man doesn't have women walking up to him with the vagina like, "Hey, you want it? I'm giving it. You want it? You want it?" So like, they just don't appreciate the fact that like, from the second not even a woman. It's gonna sound disgusting, but from the second a girl hits puberty, dudes are walking up with dick in hand. From the second she hit puberty, it's not the same for boys and men. So we largely go without it, seeking it, working for it, working towards it. And so for a lot of men, like you said, they can endure this way more than women think they can.
I would, I
Oh,
would,
yeah.
I would,
And
I would, I would take pause for a
Hmm.
moment here to acknowledge that it's worthwhile to consider that maybe these women just outright are lying about what it is they're doing in the bedroom, because quite
Hmm.
frankly, the truth is they don't classify all sex as actual
No,
sex.
that's true. No, no, no,
And
you're
then
right about
there's
that.
also
Mhm.
the fact that, now more than ever, because of the financialization and transactional relationship in between men and women in this overall environment, arguably the vast majority of women are engaged in what I would otherwise call, casual prostitution, believe it or
Oh
not.
yes,
Mm,
hell
They're
yeah,
not they're not actually saying that's what it is, but there's an exchange that's actually happening behind the scenes and straight, quite frankly, straight on in your face, that people aren't acknowledging, where most women are engaged in prostitution unknowingly.
I
oh,
agree with that.
can you
And
pay my light bill and I'll throw you some ass?
yeah, no, no, seriously, no, that's a real thing. And so to go to what you were saying about like the thing that they're engaging in these kind of acts, but they're not calling all sex, right? It's only sex when I actually like the person and I appreciate them and then I don't regret it and I was enthusiastic. So like the I only count 1 out of 7 type thing, right? So yes, but even with that, even if I said, okay, out of the 40 people in Yanni's comments, only 10 of them were telling the truth. I still think that's something to acknowledge, that we have people that are so headstrong about whatever weirdo thing they got going on in their mind. That there's, and let's call it thing a thing. There's a lot of these people are socially awkward themselves, but whatever weirdo thing they got going on in their mind, that they're going 5 and 10 and 15 years celibate, right? I think that speaks to BGS's and Calhoun's Mouse Utopia. I keep on saying BGS, but us keep on bringing up the Mouse Utopia project, but also the fact that we're here as a society, and particularly in the Black community, where these people are so delusional. I keep on coming back to this. They're so delusional that they would much rather go it alone with their $50,000 a year job than to end up with a guy that's earning 40, 45, 50, 60 and making it work with $100,000 or $110,000 or even let's say $90,000 and $95,000 instead of just their 45 or 50, right? That's what's fascinating to me. Like you're hurting yourself because you're spiting yourself. Like, it really is cut your nose to spite your face. You're literally hurting yourself, throwing a temper tantrum because you have these delusional thoughts, right? And let me read this real quick before you go, better. In no placeholder says, and thank you for the super chat. Black women know it's the same. They just hoping it's not. That hope. I don't. Do we want to call it hope or is it just delusion?
I call it cope.
Right. Copia.
I've talked to a number of women in personal. And one thing that always sticks out to me that kind of ties into that is at least the expression of this belief that other women of other races, by and large, don't have a situation where their women are out earning men on in the same numbers that they are and all kinds of things. And I think I've shared this story before where it's like some of the executives at the company I came from previously, like the president of the company, like she was the breadwinner in her relationship. But when she came to speak to the leadership class that I was going through, like she made it very clear, like when it came down to things. Yeah, she was like, hey, I wouldn't be able to do this without him. Like family is so important. Like he is my support structure. He is my rock. She's like, yo, there's a lot of times I can't make certain things. As far as like maybe like after hours work functions and whatnot. And it's because I have obligations at home and it's a balance. And when I tell you she said that, and you could see like all the Black girls rolling their eyes, like you division president and you got time for this motherfucker that it's like, okay, well, what does he do? Oh, he's a stay-at-home dad.
Well, they can't
he quit his career
that
so that
the president of their corporation, because she's a woman, might actually have to go home and serve her man.
Yeah.
That shit chaps their hide.
They have neoliberal assessment of men and masculinity that was exacerbated by nonstop materialism and consumerism commercials for the past 40 some odd years, and that only exacerbated women's hypergamy, right? So of course they can't hear a middle-aged or older white woman saying, yeah, hey, if I want to be superwoman, I still need a support system, and my husband is my support system at home. They can't hear it because they have power couple weirdo dreams where I'm earning 100 and my man's earning 150 and we both run the world, right? Or I'm a millionaire and my man's a millionaire. They have Jay-Z, Beyonce, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama power couple dreams, not understanding how absolutely uber rare that is, like insanely rare that is.
Well, they don't understand the concepts like I mean, like, let's be clear. Women largely these days are not interested in any sort of reciprocal relationship.
No. Nope.
They're not. They're mostly interested in parasitic relationships and some different fixture or feature of a problematic relationship that men ought not be engaged in for the most part. I mean, these power fantasy couples, because that's what it is. It's a power fantasy at the end of the day in their mind that they're concocting. these types of couples are, number one, not the norm, and number two, oftentimes aren't even healthy to begin with. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you oftentimes they're projecting out that that's what they're fantasizing about, almost a luxury lifestyle, instead of
Yeah.
what it actually means to be in a relationship, and the values that surround the relationship, and the portions that actually matter a great deal. And then even when they get engaged in those relationships with those types of men, because it does happen from time to time, they don't actually understand that men in those positions often don't actually want, for the woman to be out doing as much as he is. He wants him, or excuse me, he wants for her to be essentially flexible to him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's for, like you said, it is delusional. I would say it's delusional, and it's not really appreciating what Mackenzie Bezos was to Jeff Bezos, or Melinda Gates was to Bill Gates, right? Like, you don't really appreciate their role in that relationship, right? You don't really appreciate why Michelle Obama had to tone it down. Because you know what America pretty much told Michelle Obama? Yeah, we don't give a fuck what you doing over there in the black community. We don't care about your dynamics. If you're gonna be the wife of the president of the United States, yeah, you're gonna turn all that shit down. I don't give a fuck what y'all got going on in black America. We don't play that shit over here in white America. Turn that shit down. And guess what Michelle had to do? Turn that shit the fuck down. And it went against every single synapse in her goddamn body as a black woman. And guess what? For 8 years, she turned that shit the fuck down. That's what it is.
I think other
Period.
cultures have a larger, and this is not really our fault, but it is our responsibility to take care of and fix it, right? But I would say that other cultures have a decent, not, I mean, it's become more problematic lately, but they used to have a decent understanding of what it means, essentially what roles were necessary for a man and woman in a relationship. And these
Mm.
days it's lost on everybody, including these other cultures.
Well, something I should have brought this up way back when I was speaking about, when I was speaking earlier, when I was giving my monologue. BGS has a clip from some of his work from way back, maybe like 2017 or something, 2018 or something like that. Um, where it's the panel of women speaking, maybe six women, black women speaking. It's the images in black and white, and the two light skinned women. One of the light skinned women in particular was pushing back on the Moynihan. I want to say it was the Moynihan report, and essentially, if you really dig through what she's saying, essentially she's saying, what's wrong with a matriarchy? Like, y'all make it look like, okay, Moynihan is saying like the black community has become a matriarchy and it's handicapping black boys and men. What's wrong with the matriarchy? If you dig through what she's saying, that's what she's saying. Like, why? Okay, so why can't we lead our families and the men just adhere to what? Why is a matriarchy inherently wrong? What is going to be negative towards the men in a matriarchy? 50 years later.
You trying to trigger me? You know I'm a sexist, right?
Right, but I'm just saying, look, and so we're 50 years later, and we watched this experiment of black women, and quite frankly, black women and white women experimenting using the black community as its test bed for its matriarchal ideas, and they watched this shit fail over the past 50 years with a handful of noted black women with a bit of money and some position, but the masses of black women still don't got shit, and definitely the masses of black men got their heads taken off over the past 5 or so decades, and they still won't be like, oh, okay, the experiment failed. Right? They still can't come to that. Let me read this real quick. And thank you, Passport OG. And he says, this convo might explain Ebony K. Williams' rage. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Right? Of course. You're a educated, at least at one point, she Asian now, so yeah, she losing it. Educated, attractive, well-spoken, well put together, etc., connected, blah, 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 black woman. And you don't got no man, right? Not only you should have been married at least a decade by now. You don't have no man. You're not married.
Well, she was married, but she admitted that she blew her own marriage
yeah.
up.
She met. Yeah. So you're not. You're right. You're right about that.
She
You're
was
not.
married.
No, she was married. She was married back in the day.
Does she
She
have
admitted.
kids?
It's Ebony K. Williams, bro.
I mean,
But
like, if you were married, like, that was the point. Like, you're supposed to have a family.
no, but okay. So when she admitted that she messed up her marriage, she said she put her career first and all this other stuff. So I would estimate that she doesn't have children because that would have gotten in the way of her climbing up the ladder. It's the same thing with Claudia Jordan. Like these women are the same, bro. Same thing with Vivica A. Fox. Like these women are the same. They're the same, bro. They're the same. They put. Go ahead.
The crazy thing about it is, a lot of women in our community make it a binary choice, but it's really not.
Yeah.
Having a career and having a family, those things are not mutually exclusive. However, that does mean that you have to sit down with somebody. That does mean that you have to actually compromise, submit. That does mean
What's that word you just used?
submit.
Wait. No. The word before that.
Oh, compromise.
What is that? What is the name? I don't even know. I don't think what. Hey, I gotta look this word up in the dictionary. I don't never heard it before. Compromise. What is that? I don't even know. I don't even know if black women know what that is. They use that word maybe occasionally, but when you hear what they actually mean by compromise, it mean you submitting to their rule.
I mean, like, it ain't. I think that you are making you don't understand what you're saying, sir. I mean, you know what you're saying, but you don't understand.
Compromise.
For women, that women in today's culture, bro, you're making a grave mistake to believe that these two things aren't mutually exclusive. I would actually argue they are in these women's
for them.
lives.
Yeah.
And this is PK. I know what you're saying, and I know exactly where you're going, but this is what I'm getting at. Mm-hmm. If you make those things mutually exclusive, you can.
Yeah.
But we see how you end up. There's a Bobby Womack song that says, "If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight."
Yep.
You end up as Ebony K. Williams with 2 vials of black sperm in your
Shout
purse.
out to KC for covering that song too. He did a masterful job. Right? Yeah.
And it's not to say that the relationship isn't difficult. I mean, it is and it isn't. Ironically, it's kind of like pimping, according to Dave Chappelle. But it's one of those things that, like, hey, if you have this goal in mind and you have a like-minded person who you vetted, who's actually similar quality to you, then you can make that thing work, and you can get a lot of the things that you want. Because guess what? When you are husband and wife, you have an innate support structure that is literally 2 feet from you. All you gotta do is roll over in the bed. Hey, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Versus
people these
your
days.
mom. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, PK.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was like, versus, like, because of modern dynamics, a lot of people in their immediate family and extended family aren't in the same city, much less same state in a lot of cases. Like, a lot of people live hours and hours away. So you don't have mom and dad or grandma or whatnot. So guess what? Childcare gonna beat you across the head. Housing gonna beat you across the head. A lot of things gonna beat you across the head. Even just getting a goddamn babysitter so you can go out and just get piped down, it's gonna beat you across the head.
But okay, so that's the thing. Go ahead, PK. I'll go after you. Go ahead.
That's the portion where the transactional relationship piece comes into play, that they're trying to make a side door into all of these issues, and they've been trying to work around the problem of having a relationship and the benefits that come along with it by essentially making side propositions to get around it. That's the point. That's the part that the whole acculturated prostitution piece comes in, where they're essentially selling box for money, but they're calling it something different. They're making inroads in these other areas so that they can essentially still trying to find a way to have it their way when there's no way not really.
It's what's her name again? Oh my god, the one God damn, the one that said pretty much like rent a husband type thing. What is her name? Shirley Shepherd. Shirley Shepherd. It's pretty much what Shirley Shepherd rent a husband. So I can't make it work with men. I don't got no husband or boyfriend. So let me borrow your boyfriend or husband to help me put up this shelf. I promise you I won't do nothing sexual with him, but I need a rent a husband. Number one. Number two, and to add on to what Better You was saying, here's something else to consider. The women that they're using their brother, they're using their mother, they're using their cousins as a buffer to not having a man. In other words, I can't make it make work with men. So me and my mom go half on the cell phone bill. My savings account still has my mom as the primary person or something. My brother looks out with me with this. He picks up my kids from school when I'm at work. My sister babysits, and it's like I get it. Like we're still black, and many of us still come from the bottom. So you still somewhat need that support structure. But that support structure then allows for that woman to be a complete a-hole in the dating scene.
It's a portion of why also a lot of black women, knowingly or unknowingly, oftentimes posit the whole idea about the village.
Wait, PK, real quick. Wait. It's not Shirley. What is it? It's not Shirley. Cheryl. It's not Cheryl. No, not Cheryl Underwood. Sherry Shepherd. It's Sherry. It's not Shirley. It's Sherry. It's Sherry Shepherd. You're right. I keep on calling her Shirley Shepherd. Her name is Sherry Shepherd, the comedian. Yeah.
Big Shirley.
Sorry. No, that's so messed up. It's Sherry Shepherd. You're right. I keep on calling her Shirley Shepherd. Her name is Sherry Shepherd, if I'm not mistaken, right? Exactly, Cheryl. Her name is really Sherry. Yeah, her name is. I keep on saying Shirley for some reason, and it's messed up because Betty says, "Why don't you just call her Big Shirley?" Oh,
Big Shirley.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that. That's messed up. But go ahead, PK.
Well, yeah, it's the idea behind like a village mindset. They're essentially trying to enlist men's help without any reciprocal value given to men and boys. That's what they're trying to sidestep what exactly comes out of the benefits of being in a relationship by getting it from these other structures, so that they don't have to be submissive to anyone, so that they still have the ability to do what it is they want to do, essentially, and make you essentially socialize the consequences for their actions. That's what they want. That's what they want to have the ability to do. And they've effectively done that for the most part, because a lot of men have bought into that, and they're just now, by virtue and advent of a lot of these conversations, getting a little bit of pushback on that, and because of some different legal decisions that have come down recently, getting a little bit of pushback in relation to that. But for the most part, they've been largely successful by virtue of feminist ideals pushing in that direction. Now, it causes a relationship breakdown in between men and women at the baseline level, because men don't want to be socially responsible for women's actions without any say so in what it is that they do. Not individually.
Women get to practice negative liberty on men's dime.
Correct.
Yeah. No, we don't. Nope. And to every person under the sound of my voice, we're not signing up for that. Who's signing up to pay for women, especially as black men, pay for black women to give black men the middle finger, do whatever she wants, and then we pick up? Listen, Dr. Umar Johnson, we ain't picking up after these women, bro. We're not. That you can't shame us. Dear FD signifier, all them asshole feminists, let them eat pussy. I said it. No, we're not picking up after the meanest group of people on the planet. Mean, condescending. No, man. Nope.
They're acting as if they're the corporations in neoliberalism.
Yeah. They're too big to fail. That's essentially what the women are saying. It's funny. Too big to fail. It's funny. But they're acting like the banks for real. We're too big to fail. Look, we're gonna mess up the economy. Yeah, we're gonna repeal the Glass-Steagall Act that kept these banks from those banks, the investment banks from the commercial banks. Yeah, we're gonna throw all that out the window. And when it hits the fan, we need you to bail us out anyway. And that's how the women are acting. They literally acting like that.
The funny thing about the feminism that we have today, fourth way that we have. Honestly, there's a very strong case to be made that it truly does hurt the very women that it purports to want to liberate and uplift by the atomization of the family. And by atomizing the family, what it is effectively doing is saying, by pushing the man out the picture, saying that you don't need to be beholden to him or responsible to him in any way. He does not need to be involved. You're essentially offloading all of the family duty and rearing and raising to that woman, which is honestly killing a lot of black women if you really listen to them.
Let me let's do this because you use the word. I love that word. You know, that's one of my favorite words, right? Atomize. So let's give people the definition of atomized real quick.
I'll be back in like 20 minutes. I gotta go.
I gotta close out in like 15 minutes. So and atomize. No, it's giving me the wrong one. It's giving me the wrong one. Because I know what you mean. You mean when pretty much singular, like the society's becoming atomized, and it's giving me the other meaning of atomized. Let me see if it gave me the right one. This time. See, it's giving me the scientific one. Reduced to atoms or other small distinct units. Anyway, socially, actually, that's correct. Socially, yes, right. Where you're separating people, right? So it's no longer the family union. We're just, individuals. So, when Margaret Sanger says. I said not Margaret Sanger. No, when the Prime Minister of Britain, what is her face?
Theresa May.
No, that was the former one. That's the not her.
Yeah,
way before her.
They go through like toilet paper.
The Iron Lady. Y'all know her. Iron. Oh my God.
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher. Well, I don't see. Thank you. Margaret. I didn't hear. My apologies. My apologies, PK. But yeah, when Margaret Thatcher says there's no such thing as society where there's individuals and there's families, that's the beginning of that shit. That right there is that what she's really saying is, yeah, we're about to atomize the shit out of y'all because we need the corporations need to suck up all the money, and yeah, we can't have y'all doing this whole union thing and looking out for your fellow man. Screw that. We need you to be selfish assholes and look out for you and maybe your family, and that's just better for the government and for the corporations right now. Y'all been doing too much back in the 60s and 70s. Now we in the 80s. That shit's dead. Right, and so yeah, when Better You says atomize, like think of it like that, like it's just individuals, and socially kind of separating. There's no group dynamic. There's no family. There's no none of that. It's just individuals.
Yeah, I understand how you can get Margaret Sanger and
I mean, I did it. Yeah. The difference is what exactly?
Yeah, I know. They're the same picture, right? Yeah, same picture.
I mean, one was American and one was British, but outside of that, the difference is.
Yeah, looking. Detecting difference, can't find it. Need AI technology.
You see what I'm saying? Like, right? And thank you, no placeholder for the super sticker. I mean, like, bruh, if both of them been named Margaret. Both of them was old white racist white women. Oh yeah. Right? Yeah, that's what said Shirley Thatcher. Oh, that was the big Shirley of Britain. That's why they call her the Iron Lady. Oh, that's what said Shirley Sanger. Oh man, that's just hysterical. But no, seriously. So that's why I think that's how we get an atomized society, and that shit don't work for no one. I really have to, man. I'm gonna have to do that with Gigi. Like I said, keep on tying feminism and neoliberal capitalism and how that just shredded everything. That boy, if you want to talk about the worst cocktail ever,
and the thing about it is, the rationale for it, which a lot of folks don't really get, at least not at face value, is it's all for capitalism. Feminism is the fucking Super Mario hammer of capitalism.
Yeah, especially second wave feminism plus late stage neoliberal capitalism, nigga.
It's strange. It's strange because I don't understand how people don't actually see the through line in between the waves of feminism from its inception. I just don't see how people don't connect one to the other. They're actually logical progressions to things in
Yeah.
life. And I think this is why I classify myself, number one, as a sexist, okay, and
Mhm.
number two, as an anti-feminist. I'm not a
Yeah.
feminist in any sort of way at all, not even a little bit, because I think of it as a through line and it's a logical progression to it. Now,
Mhm.
the reason for that is because one of the underlying tenets that linchpins many feminist ideologies is the idea that they can essentially have the same values and ideals as men do, and it just isn't possible because of
Mhm.
the biological realities in between men and women. It just isn't possible, number one. Number two, because I believe that if women do want to be a protected class, they ought to be a protected class in the sense that they have different separate rights from men, not the same, not
Mm.
the same exact rights. I don't think so. I don't think it's possible, because when you
No,
do that, you open up the availability for them to be essentially become agents of other forces that are acting against your own, number one, women's interests, but also the group interests,
I
which is
Well,
which is men and women.
I like to treat women like adults. I hear what you're saying, PK, but I like, look, man, I'm okay with you crying. I'm okay with you wanting to jump off a bridge. I'm about telling women, oh, yeah, we got to give you all the rights of men. And this is what it's going to look like. I want to show you all the ingredients and show you exactly how the sausage is made. And you decide whether you buy it after that or not. No, I'm not gonna BS you. I'm not gonna give you all of the beautiful stuff. Yeah, you could get all of that. However, I wanted to no. You wanted this. This is what you got. This is what it come with. This is how it's made. This is who we gotta kill. All of that, right? So I hear what you're saying, but no, that's why you see how my page is. No, ladies, this is what you wanted. You got it. You wanted the equality. You got it. Have fun eating vagina and fighting for the top 20% dude, right? I'd like to say exactly what it is. You earn 45, 50 grand a year. Okay, you earn 50 grand a year, so you already outpacing the majority of men. Cool. Now have fun trying to marry the dude that earns 70 or 80 and still thinking he should earn more. And then divorcing him in 5, 10 years, destroying your family, and being the bust down and the pass around for a bunch of men for the next 20 years until you get married to the old nigga that need to settle down with somebody.
I mean, I think
How
that
many women, wait, PK, let me ask you a question. And better you, how many women life did I just describe right now?
a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think when you start to get down to the brass tacks of what it is that could make for a healthy society, that could exist in the perpetuity. If we're talking about, in a far, far away planet, known as
Earth
what they call
2.0.
yeah, Earth 2.0, you know, in that sense of what
In a
would
galaxy far,
probably
far away.
yeah, what would probably be best for the human species to continue to survive and thrive.
Hmm.
I do believe that if you want that outcome, then you have to look at this, or not have to, but I would look at this as an exercise in understanding that yes, there are inherent differences in between the male and female sexes. There are.
Mm.
And if we're going
See,
to recognize that as such, then that means we need to different sets of rules that we need to play by in tandem with one another.
I can't disagree
this,
with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm for me it's just about the video I made. I want to repost that. I might put it in my community tab. The video I made responding to Yanni with the Ebony K. Williams thing. And I went into you wanted the equality, you got it. All that men need to still do this, men need to still do that. Trans is torching that right now. The trans movement is torching all of this, because y'all don't really appreciate how all these things are linked. Like you were saying before, PK, they don't really appreciate how every single one of these things are linked. The trans and quite frankly, the feminist movement before this torched all of that. Men should still, that's gone, right? So I agree with what you're saying. I'm saying fine, no, let the ladies have it. Let them have it. destroying the world to the ground. And Mr. Z is going to be right there being like, you realize that this happened because of this and this and this and this and this. And I guess we're going extinct. Have fun.
I'll be there with s'mores, but
yeah, I'll be there with s'mores too next to the campfire looking like
we're going to be roasting the pig in the middle of the world burning. The pig is
it can't be a good s'more, baby. But the thing of it is, you have to have to what both you guys are saying, and really where all of this, the most fundamental building block has gone left is feminism has essentially stated that, at least its current incarnation of feminism has stated that there's essentially no differences between men and women aside from our pokey bits.
Exactly.
And because of that, it basically is one, decoupling the importance of those relationships and the need for one another. To have a society, to have a culture, you have to realize that it's on some level, I need you.
Yeah.
I need you to be a healthy, functioning individual. Like, I need you. Even if it's
that
just
takes
like
a certain level of selflessness. That takes selflessness. That takes you reflecting and being like, fuck just wanting you. I need you. And like, I remember listening to Amanda Seales have this conversation years and years and years ago. And she was like, why do men want women to need them? What, like, wouldn't you want me to want you? Isn't that better? And I'm like, you dumb, smart idiot. Right? Like, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You want it to be a luxury. Bitch, it's not a luxury.
These people are children.
I would argue.
Go ahead. Better you and then PK. And then we got to close out you guys in like 5 minutes. Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with everything that you said outside of this. I think, honestly, if you... I tend to take a utilitarian
approach
view
to
a lot of things. I don't think it's selfless. I think it's selfish to say, like, hey, you know what? If I got everything and everybody around me is shit, there might be some long knives coming for me.
But once again, you have foresight. A lot of these people want to imitate the rich, wealthy assholes that think exactly how you're describing. They don't actually think like. I think we get way too, bro. Vin and Now did a beautiful little like think piece about Vladimir Putin, and he painted a short history of Russia and the Soviet Union and how we got to Vladimir Putin. And in that, what you get is like, in the West, we took for granted progress. We took it for granted, and we take it for granted. Whereas when you get to like Eastern Europe, certain parts of Asia and the Middle East, et cetera, first of all, they don't take it for granted. Secondly, they question whether what we're engaging in is even really progress. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tying that to what you're saying by like some of the elites, and I'm tying that to the black women and why they think the way they think. They take for granted that the era that we live in, and they don't actually, first of all, they don't question what this is built off of, what it does to people, the meat grinder that the system is, and what it means for family formation, for child rearing, for intimacy, for all of that, right? And I said this on the breakdown before, what did neoliberalism, second wave feminism, do to the way women think of men in relationship and intimacy? And the answer is clear. They turned relationship into a luxury item. That's why they're not looking for stability. They're looking for opulence and extravagance, and then calling that basic, right? This is why the nameless protagonist keeps on saying, you keep on looking at the 1%, then the 1% become the 99, and then you look at the 1% again, and the 1% become the 99. So we're in the place where like, you listen to these women talking, most of the time they capping as fuck, but you listen to them talking, they talking about, they're looking at the map that shows how much dates cost, you know, in different states, and like, you're only spending $250 on dates? That's basic. Shut your lying ass up, bitch. You ain't been on a date for $250 yet. You lying. But your imagination and what you think the standard should be is why you sound the way you do. Right, and that's my little ramble. Go ahead and y'all finish out. Go ahead, y'all. And people are laughing at Better You when he said "pokey bits." Indigo's laughing. I'm stealing that shit. That's really actually a really good way of saying it, like not offensively. Actually, that's really good. instead of private fire pokey bits. That's good. That's a good one.
Hey, I was trying to. I don't know why. We've been cussing all day. I was trying to keep it
Mm-hmm.
PG.
Right? No, that was good. That was good. Let me read this real quick before you finish out. And Will AR says, um Passport, I know you want to say Passport Bros. Passport Bros is undermining the village. Black tradesmen are leaving country too. True. Women are forced to pay top dollar now for former free services. Bro, I'm with Black Uru when he says we need to start taxing their ass. You change the tire, you make her pay. You go pick up her son from school, you make her pay. You teach her daughter or her son how to ride a bike, you make her pay. Right? Like so that, because all of these things that we're doing for free, they taking it for granted, then turning around and saying black men don't show up. Shout out to you, Indigo. Black men don't show up. Black men aren't doing this. Black men aren't doing that. And that's because we're doing it for free, and then we're not holding her to that, right? And by the way, no placeholder. Thank you for the super sticker again. And D Scott, thank you very much. And he says, shout out to the pokey bits. I'm telling you, that's gonna be the new phrase from now on. Better you. But no, like, and I'm with Black Uru for saying that. Like, if we start making them pay, or if we start putting a price tag on a brother coming out and helping you put your shelves up, no sexual nothing, that's gonna set you back $150 depending on the shelf size. Putting your flat screen TV up, that's gonna set you back $75. Um, um, Having our son sending our son out to mow the lawn. Yeah, we used to give you a little discount of $20 because he was on punishment anyway. No, we're giving you the full price now, $50, right? Like all of that. Yeah, no, screw that, because they taking it for granted. Go ahead.
Here's another thing. I
Mm-hmm.
agree with that, but I'd also say this country really we're pretty we got our heads too far up our asses in terms of our moral our moral guidelines when it comes to prostitution, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. There are a lot of women out here that are engaged in literal prostitution. We just don't
Mm-hmm.
call it that. We
Oh
just
yeah.
don't call it that. We need to tax that ass, bro. We need to tax that ass for every single customer she gets.
Urban
We
said it
need to
too. Urban
tax
Reed said
that
it. And
ass.
Urban Reed said it right here, and it is. And I wasn't even really thinking about it. You're right. What Obsidian says, book a session, and it really is what Obsidian. It's book a session. Start, bro. You imagine how black women would act if it would only take about a week or two of black men oh, you need me to book a session, and it would be all over CNN. Something's going on in the black community. Black men are responding to black women. No, we did it. Let's say we did it for everybody. The white older lady in your neighborhood, you look out for. You bring her mail to the front of the door for her, or whatever. From now, you book a session, lady. Right? Like, if black men started doing that, book a session on everything, man, the world will burn.
Well, we haven't gone full. This is the issue. Woman, as Dr. Neil has said in BGS, shout out to both of them, put it in the video.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I watched it. Um, Even he said it, the contract, it was burned a long time ago, man. It's
Yep.
it's it's already done for. So the thing is that one half of us, we're talking about women here, are already essentially playing the game in such a way that, they're exchanging money for value, and we're not doing the same. We're just now in small numbers starting to do the same, but in the broader sense, when it comes to the full scope of the dynamics here in between black men and black men by and large aren't, you know uh asking for any sort of reciprocal value for their time, for their services. They're not asking for fees. They're not asking for any sort of monetary compensation. And because of that, women have gotten away with getting free shit, you know, with scot free essentially. You know what I mean? So it's like, at this point, yeah, I think that also, I think, like I said a moment ago, the government ought to be engaged in trying to recoup some of the losses by virtue of the fact that these women aren't going to bring in the tax dollars suitable to take care and support themselves. And you're essentially having men socialize the losses. This has got to stop. This is de facto slavery, really. We just don't call it that. In
Ooh,
fact,
PK
in
said
fact,
women are practicing trickle down economics.
oh yeah. In fact, if this were in any other context throughout history, the America fought a war over this with England, bro.
Yeah.
It was
Taxation without representation, ass.
correct. Yeah, correct. But
The
we're not
thing,
doing that with women.
Hey, seriously though, that's really what if you think about college and university, if you think about the fact that and no, we've had this conversation on the Roger Report, right? The fact that men are paying way more into the system and getting way less, while than women. Women are paying less into the system and getting way more, and it really is a wealth distribution. And quite frankly, I think men on the surface are okay with that. I think now that the shit's getting abusive, that's why you hear men doing what they're doing and saying what they're saying. Men are okay. Men, bro, we're far more pliable than the fucking women are when it comes to this type of shit,
the
right?
thing of it
We're
is,
far more. Go ahead, go ahead.
it's kind of like Dr. T says, like a lot of men think in terms of society, in terms of greater community,
Mm-hmm.
whereas because of a lot of the social theory and feminism and women really seem to be the ultimate capitalists.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
when you combine those things, it creates a hyper individual mindset. So it becomes where it's like, you know what? Fuck mama, fuck brother, fuck son, honestly, in a lot of
yeah,
cases.
yeah, yeah.
Whereas,
Because you're willing to sacrifice. You're willing to
yeah,
sacrifice them to the system for your benefit.
whereas with
Wow.
a lot of black dudes, it's one of those things. To what I was saying earlier, me helping you, yes, it's good to be altruistic, but it also, if you have something, ultimately, like, yo, if you have something, you're a little bit less likely to try to come break in my shit and run my pockets.
Ain't
Just being
nobody,
honest.
there is nobody. I'm gonna tell you a secret, bro. And this ain't really a secret, it's history. There ain't no such thing as altruism. Not really. What we understand to be altruism, at least insofar as corporations are concerned or those in power are concerned, was actually mandated. It was going to be it was actually argued because what happened was in history, FDR was going to essentially start forcing companies to do things on behalf of the social
And
good.
they almost fucking assassinated his ass. Go ahead, that part
Right.
too.
And then so what happened was is the corporations got into a fucking big uproar and they're like, hold on, hold on, hold on. Listen, we're gonna open up non-profits for the people. And that's how we got this quote unquote altruism that you speak about. For the most part, altruism in humanity isn't a real thing. We all want things in return, all of us. We think it's altruism, it's not. It's actually it's delayed gratification. We expect things later
Yeah,
rather
but
than
no, but
today.
but better use point is still range true where it's hey, if I look out for you in a way, I may not give you my all, but I'll give you a little wink and a nod, and I'll look out that way. Like you were saying, like you won't run my pockets if I make sure you and your children ain't starving. If I make sure you and your children ain't starving, you're less likely to run my. But the women aren't, and some men, and especially the elites right now, they're not thinking about that no more. The difference is the men of the past, coming out of World War II, coming out of the Great Depression, they were fresh off of that extreme selfishness and what it got us. Now that we've been air quotes comfortable for a few decades, or relatively comfortable for a few decades, we have too many people in our society that don't appreciate.
Oh, you cut out, Z. Better you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Z cut out.
Yeah, Z cut
Freeman
out.
by Ayn Rand. Oh, can you guys hear me now?
You're back now. You've been gone for
Oh
like
yeah.
30 seconds.
Oh wow, 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 wow. Okay, yeah, no, but I was saying like the entire structure keeps people from having this more societal view of everything, right? That's what I was saying. But go ahead. Wow, the good part. God damn,
Yeah,
y'all missed the good part. I just condensed into 3 words. Go ahead.
yeah. And I don't disagree with you saying at all, PK. I'm speaking more so from, I guess you would say, a smaller, more familial community level, to where it's like, same reason why you do something for a family member or you look out for a friend. It's not always in terms of
It's
getting back.
always selfish. It's always selfish.
That's some.
The thing is that we just don't view it that way because we
I'm
expect to
not.
get something that may be intangible for the value that we put forward tangibly. That
I'm
isn't
not arguing
necessarily.
that it's not. What
Oh,
I'm arguing is that just because it's not necessarily a physical exchange, you call it selfishness. When I honestly, I just call it selfishness myself. As a utilitarian, I think it's selfish in certain aspects to help other people to some degree because it
It's
increases the
smart.
stability of the environment around you.
Yeah, it's smart. It's just it's good practices. That's what I was saying. When you're knowledgeable that you live in a society, right? Because when I guess when I went out, you guys couldn't hear is what I was saying is that when you realize you live in a society and you're not thinking like Ayn Rand, you're not thinking like Milton Friedman, you know, you appreciate the fact that it's a delicate dance and all of these things work in concert to keep your society stable.
damn! What the fuck, Z?
God, every time
Man,
you
you
skip
on that
going,
Wi-Fi, bro? What the fuck?
Yes, we may not be truly altruistic, but because we're thinking about these things,
Damn.
I ain't got the heart to tell them, man.
Damn.
be at
Oh man,
least fair enough where we're and,
You
and I
been
make
in and
this a,
out, bro.
wow, you got okay, can you guys hear me now?
yeah, we can hear.
Back down. Like
God
seriously.
damn.
Like I'm not. By the way, better you back me up. I'm not fucking with you, Z. I'm being honest.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not. No, but I was saying like you make the society stable enough where people are less likely to rob your ass. And yes, it even if it's selfish, right? I keep on saying this. There's a level of selfish where you actually have to be selfless
Oh yeah,
because you still
they're hand in hand.
exactly because you have to make sure that the society is still stable enough where people are not going to come after you and your shit, right? So that I think that's what better you was speaking to. So yeah, it may not be full on altruism, but it is trying to keep society stable enough where you don't always have to rely on your cops and your paramilitary to keep the peace, right? You create the societal mechanisms to keep the peace because people are eating enough, people are good enough, right?
I was gonna
You're
get to that
yeah,
part.
yeah,
You
yeah. Go ahead, go
actually
ahead.
you stole it from me. That was the part
Oh
I
my
was
bad.
gonna get to.
Uh-oh.
Nah, that's cool. You got it already. I mean, but
Mhm.
basically, you're saying the same thing I was going to say. Essentially, you're creating the environment for essentially selflessness to be the default.
Yes.
Selfishness is something that works hand in tandem to create selflessness. You do
Yeah.
it so that you don't have to do it in the future. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, so to speak. You create the environment that create the conditions for where selflessness becomes the default because people are doing things because they need to do them so that it creates a better society. In turn, it ends up creating better outcomes for themselves. It's a cyclical thing. Now, if you only work off of selfishness to oneself individually, then you only beget the same. That's the issue that we're having now. We're not doing it for any sort of broader context. That's what we're running into now.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. I see, okay, perfect. You see what we're doing right now? Can you guys hear me by the way? Before I get
Yeah, we
into
can
my
hear.
whole diatribe.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
now I gotta start checking now. Now I'm
Right, but
insecure about this shit.
for real,
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to you. I really gotta go get this alcohol. They close at 12, bro.
Listen to this. Listen to this. freaking wino over here. Freaking
Look,
whole
I need my
house.
beer, bro. I need my beer. I'll be
Yo,
back.
fix
No,
your
I'll be
face, bro.
listening. I'll be
no,
listening.
no.
So if you're
Yeah, you're
still
good
on,
because
I'll
I'm
be
about to
back.
close out in a little bit anyway. But yeah, so because I need to make space for AB.
All right, bet.
Yeah, man. So my closing on this is I agree. I look at what we're doing here. Look how the conversation has evolved. I originally started off talking about Princella, Miss Princella, the whoever, whatever the name of the young lady is, with the let the table break or whatever. Bro, this table been here since the beginning of humanity. This table ain't going nowhere. It's been here since the beginning of slavery. It ain't going nowhere. It's been here since the end of slavery, beginning of Jim Crow, the end of Reconstruction. It ain't going nowhere. The end of the civil rights movement, it ain't going nowhere. Y'all did leave the table for a good 50, 60 years, but the environment then drug y'all back kicking and screaming. So have fun, right? So there's that part. But the table ain't going nowhere, lady. You done twerked on the table. You done tried to hit the table with Thor's hammer. You done tried to do everything. You tried to cut the legs from under the table. You left the table for a good 5-6 decades, but the table's still here. Where you going? You ain't going nowhere. Right? So, but look how the conversation has evolved from what I was speaking to earlier to now we're talking about societal forces and mechanisms and how you keep a stable community in society. That's what the Black Manosphere is. We went from talking about individual women who represent more women, Black women, and their kind of pretty much petulant behavior to speaking about what in society is helping to foster that petulant behavior, right? The societal mechanisms or lack thereof that's causing these women to or helping to cause, because we do got to hold them accountable for their behavior, but helping to cause them to sound the way they do, right? So actually, yeah, I'm definitely gonna read the super chats before I close out. Don't worry about that, y'all. Like, hey, I'm not gonna have y'all pay and not. As a matter of fact, before we close out, and RO says every aspect of a woman's design is predicated upon reproduction, of and for the man. True! Exclamation point. Why all the other confusion and delusion? You can't revoke God's design. Well, that's what. Well, we're speaking about postmodernism now. That's what that is. What they're saying is, when we're in need, when we're in a world of lack, when we're still working on providing, then yes, maybe what you're saying is true. But now that we're in the world of abundance, we don't have to go by these biological rules. What is the Bible? Like what are these religious tenets that you're speaking about are something from the desert when we didn't have TVs and radio and internet. So I think that's how these people will respond to what you're saying, right? Like, we live in a postmodern era, right? We're literally having a conversation, a societal conversation about what makes a man and what makes a woman, right? We're literally having that conversation. Like, postmodernism is all over the place. What is the definition of words? Do definitions not move, or do words not have different meanings eventually? Like that, we're living in that era. So I agree with you, RO. I think the confusion comes in when we really start redefining words and terms and saying like meanings can change and what's the meaning of a meaning anyway. Like we're getting real abstract with the shit now. Like, yeah. So once again, I'm not gonna say that you're wrong at all. And I actually kind of agree with you. But because of the world we're living in now, that's where the confusion is. And I don't even know if it's confusion, because I think the people that think like us, and then the other people that don't. The confusion is somewhere in the middle, right? Because we're trying to figure it out as heterosexual straight men, and then you have the women that are kind of doing this both and thing, and that's where you get them trying to be feminists while still trying to have patriarchy in the same vein, and then kind of running headlong into the wall of like, you can't have both, right? And you definitely can't have both at the same time, right? So that's kind of my answer to RO. Cheryl Bentley said, no taxation without ass presentation. I glanced and saw this earlier, and it took everything in me not to laugh. But seriously though, no taxation with an ass representation. Look, if you want to make this shit truly transactional, if that's the world y'all want to live in, ladies, it's gonna get real ugly real fast. It's going to get real ugly real fast if men start really putting a price on everything we do for women. It's gonna get real ugly because I don't think men don't underestimate what women do for them. We don't. But women think that everything, they don't even know how to count what we do for them and what we do for us that inadvertently benefits them. They just don't, they don't even know how to count it. They don't even know how to count the fact that they're sitting in AC buildings, AC homes that men built for them to turn around and talk crap. the internet lines, the wires that's going all across the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean, right? The oil being dug out the ground, right? The military that protects the resources that America legitimately and illegitimately take, right? They don't even know how to count that. They don't even know that's mainly men. They won't even know if we told them, hey, you better start counting how much it costs to employ these men that make your life possible. And okay, fine, you want to only count the black men because you want to show that it's black men ain't doing nothing. Start counting with all the black men that are in position, from across the military to truck drivers to people working on oil rigs to brothers like everywhere, to the surgeons, to the doctors. Literally, the homegirl that glued her damn hair. It was a black doctor. I think he was an African brother, but still, it was a black doctor that got that glue up out of there. If we start counting all of that, could y'all afford it? Right? So yeah, I agree with Trill on that. No taxation with an ass presentation. Hey, you paying somehow, right? The story. I think Jason Black covered it years ago of the brother that was he was one of the fix-it men in these apartment complexes. And he was running through them ladies in that apartment complex, right? Because they were having sex with him to pay the difference on their apartment, their rent, and to help them fix something sooner rather than later, right? So a transaction is a transaction, right? And Detroit says, shout out to the Universal Soldier when the Shirley is fully programmed. Right? So that's all. Oh, 18th, I'm about to dip out 18th. My apologies, bro. It's about that time. Y'all already know I'm being real risky right now, so I'll just say that without incriminating myself. So I'll just say that. All right, better you go ahead and make your closing and we'll get up out of here. My apologies, 18th. If anything, I will do another maybe Monday. Let's shoot for maybe Monday. I'll do another panel. Maybe. I'm gonna try. It might be Monday morning if anything. So I'll let y'all know. Monday. Let's say 8-ish, 9-ish a.m. Eastern time. So let's see. But yeah, go ahead, better you.
Yeah. So I'll just say this: like a lot of these people, like the ladies that you're talking about and covered today, like their rhetoric is one that is only aimed at hurting the community, only aimed at separating and honestly making things harder for the very audience that they claim to be advocating for. And it's a lot of bullshit out there. And people have to at least take the 2 seconds to rub a brain cell or two together to recognize it for what it is. Because a lot of it really, if you just take 2 seconds and ask like one or two questions, everything falls apart and goes to shit. Like parents for long, only black women should get reparations. Okay. How the fuck this gonna work?
Bruh. You imagine, if let's say I never got to get into that. 60 seconds of everybody's time. If that was truly to happen, because white society know they got black women by the vagina. They know they got them by the vagina. But if that was to happen, if black women went into Congress doing that, pulling a Paris Malone, do you understand? White society would I don't even know how to put it in terms of how much they would. If you think they're playing black women now, they would fully understand, because your average your average white person doesn't understand the contempt that certain black women have for white men. They don't fully get it. But if that was to happen and it became general world, definitely nationwide, but worldwide understanding how much contempt black women have for black men, particularly the Paris Malons of the world, do you understand what white society would do to the black community, particularly black women, when they really, like, your everyday white person knows how much contempt, especially your everyday white man knows the contempt black women have for black men? Because your everyday white man he gets it kind of sort of on the surface level. He thinks it's somewhat kind of similar to what's going on with white men and white women right now, but he don't really get it, nor is he interested. Your average white dude is just living his life. He don't really get it. He don't care to get it. he ain't paying attention. But if this was something that was known across the board, oh my God. And that's why Paris Milan's saying that. I'm like, you really don't want that? You're not really thinking, you're just talking. Right? And I'll pause right there. Go ahead, Betty. You don't have to cut you off. My bad.
Oh no, you good. And I was pretty much done. Like it's one of those things to where really, truly, these women need to sit down and just think about, like, okay, if I want a family, if I want a career, if I want certain things, how much more difficult am I making it by saying that I'm going to axe out relationship? I'm going to axe out, honestly, the person who would be my number one support structure. And honestly, I mean, I feel like everything is ass backwards nowadays because of a lot of shit.
It is.
Facts.
It is, bro. It's ass back. Once again, I said postmodern. I should have read the definition of postmodern when I said it, but I'll read it another time. Yeah, when I say, bro, that everything is topsy-turvy. Everything is topsy-turvy. Everything is up for interpretation. Ain't nothing real. That's what these people are on, right? You know, so I get it, but that comes with consequences. So yeah, you're right. Everything's ass backwards because it is. That's all.
That's all, man. I'm done ranting.
Right. And Will said these women don't give a damn, and you're right. They don't, and you know they don't give a damn if white society would be like, oh, we got your number now. Here go your little reparations money, and we about to eat y'all alive. Thank you. We will make sure, now that we know for sure, we will make sure the black community is no longer in another century, right? So you're right. It's definitely possible, right? And they don't give a damn. That's true. That's true. And you're right. And Will says too many black men are simps and won't simply let these hoes go. No, I think that's changing. I think that's changing in front of our eyes. I think that's why the women are throwing a fit. I think what the Daily Wrap-Up crew is showing, what Kevin Samuel showed, and more importantly, what Kevin Samuel showed in his death when they danced on his grave. What Jamie Foxx showed when he was in the hospital and they were wishing death on him because he had children from white women, right? That shows, brothers, that even when you don't speak about black women negatively, the anger and the rage is there. So speaking of what you're saying, I think that's changing in front of our eyes. I don't think the relationship or lack thereof that millennial and Xers and boomers, etc., have with black women, I don't think you get that with Gen Z and with Gen Alpha behind them. As we get older and as Gen Z, really start getting more and more out of there in the dating scene, and as Generation Alpha slowly start to come of age, I think you're going to see a completely different situation. And I think you're going to see way more. I think those videos that we saw of young women crying in their cars, those 16-year-olds and 18 and 19-year-olds, I think when you get to Gen Alpha, you're going to have a crap ton of mainly black little girls and women, right? Some of them are deserving of it, some of them not, yelling at the top of their lungs that the black boys are straight ignoring them in high school and in college, right? So I agree with I'm saying, Will, I think that dynamic changes. I think the younger brothers are really like, yeah, screw it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is purely anecdotal, but from my girlfriend and some of the ladies I've interacted with, the way some of them treat their sons, man, like they don't need nothing else. Like forget a girlfriend doing it in for. It's like, yo, they mothers talk to them like dogs. Their mothers treat them like shit. And then it's like, you wonder why he's attracted to women of other races. You don't want nobody like you.
Hey, but that's the millennial. That's mini millennials now. I said that to my mom. I was like, Mom, it's me and one of my other guy cousins on my mom's side that are with black women. Everybody else dates out the race. All my other male cousins date out the race. I said, do you understand why? Do you get it? Right? So like, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. Yeah.
I see it with my son. Like, we went to a birthday party one time, and there was a little black girl that was flirting with him. I was like, yo, why don't you say something such and such? Yeah, like, I don't know why, but she just mean, like, And he said the girl that he liked. I was like, okay, who is she? He pointed out it was a white chick. I was like, oh God.
Oh, but hey, bro, hey. You know what's the sad part? Black women swear that it'd be us that be damn near sending our sons out to go hunt white girls. First of all, not true. Secondly, the white Latina girls be hunting, and it's also like you really underestimate what you teach your sons. And by the way, this is not exclusive to black men. Why do you think so many white men are like, yeah, I'll pass. Let me go deal with Mei Ling over here. Them white men watch as their mothers rip their dad out the frame in divorce, and then they turn around and go end up with Asian women. You don't understand why that is? Y'all ain't paying attention, bro. Women are so headstrong on it's always the men's fault that your son literally is showing you through action that he resents you for who you were as a wife, maybe not as a mother, but as a wife or as a partner or as a partner. As a partner or as a spouse to his father or to his stepdad or to whoever, he's showing you through action that he resents that shit. And you still don't get it. Right? Like I said, I got god cousins. They're with Latinas and they're with white women. Yep. And then you watch all these white dudes with Asian women and then their white mothers don't get it. Man, if y'all don't get y'all lame ass the hell up out of here. Right? And on that note, closing out, thank y'all for listening in. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content. AB Media is streaming right now, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll pause right here. We'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Go check out other Black Manosphere content. Go check out other non-Manosphere content for the love of God. So y'all don't sound like these weirdos like Miss Princella and this other young lady, whoever the hell she was, with the let the table break ass. Right. So on that note, we'll pause right here. Y'all have a great rest of y'all night. Mr. Z out. All right, y'all. All right, better you. All right, bro.